All right, it is Tuesday night in Tooneytown, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for the fastest rising pro wrestling live stream podcast on the internet today. It is time for Toonie Talk Wrestling. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster, and I am pleased to bring you guys back here for another week of wrestling chatter. And of course, you know, I can't have any chatter or provolone or mozzarella or any of the good stuff without all of my awesome panelists here with me. And this week is no different. So let's bring them out. Kevin Apollo, I feel like I just saw you a couple hours ago on the Pro Show because I did.
Yeah, but I changed my shirt.
Well, oh right, you're wearing the actual Kevin Apollo Goes to War gear. So.
It's my robot.
Which, you know, I have gotten so many comments about our absolute meltdown at each other on Tooneytown TV last week on Toonie Talk TV, where we screamed at each other like a CNN panel or Piers Morgan Tonight about the Superman trailer. And I was like, guys, have you never had, the people were like, oh, you and Kev okay? I'm like, have you never had a best friend before? Like, this is Friday night. You're just screaming and pointing at each other.
That was over before it stopped.
Yeah.
You don't. I'll call you bro if I want to, bro.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But no, we are not talking about that tonight. We are going to talk about some DC tonight because Black Adam made a big splash in the wrestling scene as The Rock has ruined now the endings of 2 wrestling shows in the last month. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I think if I keep it short, we won't actually like invoke the wrath of the Dennis Leary gods.
I'm back. I'm still in a picture now, apparently.
Yes. Hello, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing all right. You ready to talk about all things wrestling?
Yeah, I'm tired. Dad had to go to the hospital last night, so I had to take him, but he's okay. He's okay. But I was there till like 4:00 in the morning. So yeah, I'm ready.
By the way, guys, never let it be said that I don't listen to criticism, because I have heard Awful's talking about, like how he doesn't like the video that I put together for his intro. So don't worry. I've worked it out. I think I've got one he's going to enjoy.
Much better.
Waiting all day for that.
Gentlemen, peace to the panel. First off, Marv, you spent too much time on that intro for me, and no time at all on the intro for the show. You used last week's intro.
That was This said he had everything set up.
Oh, I have it in the thing. I didn't know you meant like loaded up in the spot that said intro. I just uploaded it to the.
You've only been doing this 56 weeks.
Yeah, I was asking you if you've seen the, are you aware of the intro?
Does it exist?
Exactly yeah.
No. I uploaded it into the thing. I just didn't put it where it says, where you have to, like up top where it says.
See that, Kev? See how I switched that around? See how I turned that shit around?
Don't worry, guys. Awful has made an all new intro for this week. I'll play it right now. I don't know what you see in that, Awful, but I don't know what you see in that Pedro Pascal dance, man. But you just seemed a little obsessed this week.
That's the fruitiest thing I've seen all week. Yeah.
No, you know what's funny? Like, I put that to a bunch of different songs for my own amusement today, and that was weirdly the most perfect one because he does his little like hip gyrations like perfectly along with the music. Oh, one more time. It's beyond perfect.
First off, I gotta get I gotta get royalties from that song. First off, and secondly, that was goddamn perfect, Marv. That was pretty good,
right?
Pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, I did so many of them today. I can't play them because we will definitely get shut down if I play them all because they're all copyrighted music except for that one. But
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no. Hold on, I gotta play it just one more time because it's too perfect. Last time I played it. I can't get over it.
This is going to be a great chapter in the Sicko's Guide to the Rise and Fall of Tootie Town Wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Jumped the shark.
We all jumped the shark. We just started playing Peepaw Pedro Pascal.
It was good for the wrestling.
All right, guys. I'm sure he'll do a wrestling movie at some point. He's done a movie about literally everything. So, but as you guys know, this is a show made for you and funded by you. When we play all of our copyrighted music and stuff like that, we tend to get demonetized very quickly. So, in the interest of the show, being available still and still being entertaining, we've decided to just kind of like call it on the ad revenue. When we can get it, it's great, we can get it, but if not, we just rely on your generous super chats. So we take a break between each of our topics to read your super chats aloud. We do break for $50 or more, so if you send in a super chat of $50 or more, we do stop whatever we're doing to discuss whatever it is you want to discuss. But before we get in, let's take a look at what you guys have to say. Blazing Bolts for $5. Last week I went to Carl's Jr. and ordered my cheeseburger combo in my Scott Steiner voice. Well, I'm sure they appreciated that. Did you ask for a
I like a double hot cat do.
I want a peak on top of a peak on top of a peak. Sir, we don't sell that here. This is a Wendy's. Oh my goodness. Blazing Bolts also for $2 is The Rock outdraws AEW by himself. Hashtag the final boss. Yes, he does. And I bet you when Black Adam came on, people were like, hey, Black Adam's on. And people were like, oh, I didn't get to see that in the theaters because no one did. So they all tuned in and ended up getting higher ratings. But that's just my guess. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says, time moves fast, but on Sunday it'll crawl. 200. Just so you guys know, if Liquid Fox does actually donate $200 at the AEW pay-per-view, he is doing that to pay back a debt that he claims that he owes from Tooneytown TV, and it will not count toward the it will not count toward the fund to watch the scrum. So Blazing Bolts for $5. The real ratings battle is about to begin with Sesame Street going to Netflix. AEW versus Sesame Street ratings battle coming soon. Hashtag Team Sesame Street. Team Sesame Street over AEW all day, every day. Yeah, even modern Sesame Street, which needs to be a little less on the identity politics, a little more on the teaching kids how to count. But but yeah, I did see that Netflix saved Sesame Street, and they are doing it in a way that allows it to remain free on PBS. So that's pretty cool.
Marv, I'm so sorry. I must interrupt. The Sesame Street deal. When is that? When did that go down? And does that have any bearing on who's in the God? So many questions, but I'm sorry. Sesame
we
Street,
found out about it yesterday.
Saving? Yeah,
because
Max canceled it.
Yeah, Max canceled it and basically kicked it out the door, and they had nowhere to go. So Netflix swooped in and saved it. Yeah.
Good for them.
Max saved it a few years ago when PBS's funding got cut, and they put it on HBO and Max, and now they canceled it. So now Netflix is picking it up.
Well, and Max decided that it was going to move away from the family programming. It was going to move away from kids programming, which I'm assuming is why they're putting the HBO name back, because I think most of the reason why they got rid of the HBO name in the beginning was because HBO is not associated with family programming. It's associated with Sopranos and how to Game of Thrones and softcore, things. So now it's
HBO. Yeah, that's what Max is.
now it's just got softcore wrestling on it. That in the form of AEW. So CWJ 128 for $5 says, hello all. I hope at 9:30 Toonie Talk Wrestling does not suddenly turn into Captain Marvel. If only Black Adam got that much love when it was in theaters. Yeah, it was the most over Black Adam has been since it hit theaters. I saw that movie in 4DX, and then I was like, I never have to see this again. It wasn't terrible, but it was just The Rock being The Rock. CWJ 128 for $2 says, if only WBD had wrestling to hype NBA players. Yes, if only. Regina Sharp for $10 says, looking for a change on your dinner table? Try new meat substitutes. Glom Gold. It's what's for dinner. Brought to you by the Glom Gold Insect Ranch Ad Council. That was a whole lot that you laid down there, Regina Sharp. John Williams for $4.99 says, when the next time Triple H going to give us another opportunity to listen to his wonderful singing? I'm assuming you mean my Triple H. I don't know. I don't know if I have any Triple H songs in the pipe, but we'll see. Zach K for $20 is Ricochet. I'm leaving WWE to have creative freedom. The creative freedom is getting beat like a jobber to a one-legged wrestler who's not wrestled in a decade, picking fights on X accounts with 3 followers. Oh, we're gonna talk about Twitter Ricky today because he had a tussle with our old friend Alfred, which led to Alfred just eviscerating him.
That wasn't a tussle. That was Loki versus the Hulk.
Right, and Ricochet hasn't been seen since or heard of since.
Oh my gosh, he wrecked him, damn near killed him. But Christopher Miller for $25, 2 talking points. What if TK breaks the bank and signs Joe Hendry? 2, can you see WWE's greed cause an AEW resurgence? More Superman meltdowns, please. Joe Hendry is very much already one foot in the door of the WWE. Joe Hendry got a taste of 65,000 people at WrestleMania singing his song. He's not going to AEW, I don't think, no matter what Tony Khan offers him.
Tony fumbled that already anyway.
Oh, yeah. And Tony rejected him. He fired him.
No matter how much Tony can pay Hendry up front, in the long run, he will have a much greater opportunity to make money by going to WWE than he does to AEW.
They would not have done the things that they have done unless they already have kind of a preliminary, one of those hurry up and wait contracts with him, I think. So I think he has got a contract for when his TNA contract expires.
Could you imagine how bad they would fumble Joe Hendry? Like how fast
AEW?
Yeah.
Oh, he'd be off TV.
It would be so. Yeah, it'd be so bad we wouldn't even know it was a fumble. We'd be like, just another Wednesday.
Yeah. BPE checking in for $20 and no message, aka the BPE special. Thank you, BPE. We appreciate you, buddy. Andre Adams for $19.99. An indie job guy literally emailed James E. Cornette complaining that he called him a nobody. This really happened. This is not a drill. Oh, not only did it happen, Andre Adams, we have it, and we're going to go through it later on. So,
have you guys heard it? I haven't.
I have not heard it. I heard it was good, so then I was like, okay, good. I won't listen to it so that I can react to it live on the air. But we have a pared down version of it. Just put it together.
Good job, Dave.
John Williams for $4.99 says The Rock says, that's what I told WBD. No one's watching this shit. Cut it short and play the best damn superhero film ever created. And then for some reason they played Black Adam.
He even shoehorned in his way into DC Super Pets.
Yeah,
Black Adam's pet bumper. Like, oh, Rocky, please.
I know. JPS for $2 says, good God, what did I just walk into?
Oh, you think he's talking about that video that you played? Did everybody see that video, Marv? Or did you
That's the guy did $2 billion.
Marv, I just heard from the band leader. He said he wants his song back.
Well, no, can't have it back.
This is the most inclusive episode ever.
What's up with the licking of the rainbow stick? What the hell is that?
That's what a lot of people want to know.
Damn.
I'm assuming it's because the homosexuals enjoy doing. Never mind.
He's been to a couple of Madonna concerts in his time.
Yes,
Rainbow Stick is my least favorite 50 Cent song. I think is Rainbow Stick.
3 people got that joke, and Marv wasn't one of them.
Nope, I did not get one of them, but I understood that it was a clever reference. Zach K for $4.99 says Meltzer Omega versus Pedro Pascal Rainbow Stick 9 stars. Oh my gosh, yeah. Sissy boy slap fight starring Pedro Pascal. He's in everything. You might as well put him in that.
Phil's got the PWT flutes. We need the flavor sticks, the rainbow sticks.
Oh gosh, no. MJG for $1.99 says TK had Big Bird wax so he could secure the money. Oh gosh. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says, "Don't worry about it, Fox. The IOU was a joke." from Marv. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Ryan David for $10 says Norm, and of course, what he is talking about there, guys, is that George Wendt, who played Norm on Cheers, passed away today at the age of 76. So big bucket of win there.
Hey, Marv, wait a second. Hold on. Marv. Norm. George Wendt did some other roles that the younger folks would know, wouldn't they? Like I have a Toy Story. Wasn't he in Toy Story? Or
no? You're thinking about Cliff Clavin.
Okay, gotcha.
You're thinking about the different people. I know. He was the fat white one, not the white one with the mustache. I know we all look alike to you, so well, I have to.
They were both in. they were both in the horror movie classic House. George Wendt was in the first one, and then Cliff was in the second one.
I love how none of us know Cliff's name.
I know, but apparently today is also the 32nd anniversary of the final episode of Cheers.
Isn't that something?
Is it really? He died on the 32nd anniversary of the last episode of Cheers. Wow, that is.
You're welcome, Kev.
Up to that bar stool in the sky. Blazing Bolts for $2 says Pedro Pascal must be a Ricochet fan. He must be. I think they have a lot of the same extracurricular activities that they enjoy. We can just put it that way.
John Ratzenberger. Thank you, Joseph J. Alexander.
John Ratzenberger. Okay, yes. And Ryan Damon too also said it. So thank you guys for it's always I always a culture barbarian also. I love our guys because they whenever we don't know something, they tweet scream it at us or they chat scream it at us. So appreciate that.
You know, I was once told I bear a striking resemblance to Pedro Pascal. Just thought I'd let you know.
Were you?
Yeah,
the one that we see every 30 seconds in this video, or what?
Are you Chilean?
No, I thought I was at the hospital. My nurse told me that one time, and she's like, "You really look like Pedro Pascal." I'm like, "Are you sure? Like, what? Look again." Like, I don't know.
There
was
that one movie. There was that one movie where he was bleeding uncontrollably. He just really
I'm guessing. She was trying to be nice. People are nice to me.
She's like, who do you look like? Wait a second. Lick this rod.
It's coming to me. One more time. Lick it.
Hey guys, I have a very serious and important question for you guys. Are you a mark? Do you consider yourself a mark? Because if you're unsure, there is a way to find out. Okay. Vince Russo has given us the definitive list of ways to tell if you might be a mark. Let's take a look. Number one, bro.
First off, can I point out I like the fact that he didn't type it up and post it type. He took a picture of a printed out piece of paper for this.
Amazing.
This was on the side of the McDonald's building.
Number one, bro, you have convinced yourself that professional wrestling is real.
Well, that's
so
me.
Anybody?
Might be a mark if you've done that.
Anybody?
By the way, when you do the Vince Russo,
I'm sorry. You got to set it up right. You have to do the Jeff Foxworthy.
if you've convinced yourself that professional wrestling is real, you might be a mark. Okay, so would we rather do it as Vince Russo or would we rather do it as Jeff Foxworthy?
Both.
Okay.
Can you do it as Macho Man? He passed on 14 years ago today as well.
You've convinced yourself that professional wrestling is real, man.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Yeah, professional wrestling, huh?
Let me tell you something,
Literally
Dad.
the one.
If you convince yourself,
Yeah, it's just
If you have convinced, if you're convinced yourself that professional wrestling is real, you might be a mark. And fuck Hogan.
we're gonna empty all our voiceovers.
Well, damn you, some bitch. If you've convinced yourself that wrestling is real, well then hell, you're a mark.
Oh my God.
I like how you're requesting the
If
chat.
you convince yourself that professional wrestling is real, no.
We're workshopping the show live on the air. Kev, do you have a voiceover? Do you have like a you could do a good Hulk Hogan?
I've got a few.
Oh,
Yeah, I know you do.
whoa! Hey, real quick, check it out. Look who's here.
Hey,
He's here.
fill us in there, Dis. Help us.
Jose
out.
the assistant. He's from AEW. He's in our chat right now.
Oh my God! Well,
He's not-
welcome,
he's
Jose.
formerly from AEW.
Okay, still
I know
welcome,
he's
Jose.
I know he's a fan of PWT, and I've never seen him here before, so it's nice to have him here. That's cool.
Awesome.
Let's find out if he's a mark.
Hey, if you convince yourself that professional wrestling is real, then you might be a mark. But first, let's hear from our pals over at Blue Chew. JR, how's your dick hair doing?
Yeah, that's the one there, Marv. That's
the one.
Good sir, if you have convinced yourself that
God.
professional wrestling is real, then you might be a mark.
That's Paul.
Can you do Ray Stevens, Marv?
Well, if you've convinced yourself, so that's my hawk, sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, it seems to me that it seems to be. Oh, my goodness.
If you think birthday and fake wrestling matches is important to you, you might be a mark.
Remarkable consideration is paid for by the following marks.
If you've convinced yourself that the Undertaker is real,
If Dave Meltzer is your god, then you might be a mark, and I would know. I was a governor.
I was a Navy SEAL.
Right? This list was painted with thermite paint.
If professional wrestling is the most important thing in your entire life, Cactus Jack, for those of you following along.
Okay, because I was lost like a motherfucker.
I have never tried to do a Cactus Jack promo before in my life.
oh, have you convinced yourself that's real? Oh, have you? Oh, that was
Was that Robin Williams?
I was called Robin Williams last week. So I did.
Why did you step outside of wrestling to go to Robin Williams?
He had to.
I had to. We have to go.
Ran out of voices. The three that I do were already taken.
Somebody said we should do a Russian heiress, so I was just like, let's just do whatever now.
A Russian Paris. Okay. Professional wrestling is the most important thing in your entire life, bro.
I swear to God, Vincent, yeah, he's projecting because I don't know anybody, troll or otherwise, that thinks that professional wrestling is the most important thing in their life.
Or real. Who thinks
Or
it's
real.
anymore?
Like he's on strike 2 right now. Like, what are we talking about? A 5-year-old right so far?
My goodness. So saying do Goldust. I don't think I could do a Goldust voice. I don't even like. That's everybody's Goldust impression.
I know, you're right. That's it. And
The
then it stops.
inhalation is everybody's Goldust.
And then you do your own voice and think it's Dustin
Yeah.
Rhodes.
Here, I'll do it. Wait, I'll do a gold dust real quick. Hang on. Terry, I love you, Terry.
Oh,
Come here.
Hotel.
Come to the front of the plane. I love you. Sorry, that was my Gold Dust impression.
And then when that doesn't work, you corner a flight attendant and they leave it out of Dark Side of the Ring. You own a lot of black shirts with pit stains, bro.
Oh, got him.
I got you. I cooked every single one of you.
1, 2, 3, I got him.
Oh man, he's gonna say deodorant. Is that gonna be in here too? Because that'll be awesome. He does a deodorant.
You don't just want to go to a wrestling show, but you want to be a part of it. In there.
Okay, wait. Okay, here's the thing. Isn't that kind of like every wrestling fan? I mean, why do you go to a wrestling show if we don't want to be a part of the crowd? You know,
I think he's talking more about the guys that like the fans that try to hijack the show.
Okay.
Yeah, like green shirt guy.
The green shirt guy's fine. He doesn't.
I know he's awesome.
Yeah, no problem with green shirt.
Don't
guy.
sue me.
If I had that money, dude, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I wouldn't. I could think of a million better things to spend my money on.
Me and Marv are on the same page.
Absolutely. Sounds like a hassle. It sounds like a lot of being around wrestling fans in a live event situation, and it sounds like a lot of flying on planes. Two things that I hate.
We talked about that last week.
Yes, not the planes part, but I find there is not one enjoyable portion of air travel. It is from the second you have to get a ride to the airport to the second you have to get a ride home. It is an unpleasant experience from top to bottom.
Once I sit down, between the time that I sit down and the time that I stand back up on the plane, I'm fine. Everything else I can do without. The airport,
I'm in total agreement with you.
The airport is the worst part.
No, because I am always around people that are terrible. Like I am always hyper aware of everyone around me. And for some reason, I am always sat next to just the dregs of society.
Yeah.
Who you know, their kids are out of control or they try to lean their seat back when they're sitting in front of me. I literally put my hand up. I'm like, no.
Marv sat next to Joe Biden and P. Diddy on a plane once.
I was in the middle seat.
Yeah. You know how you combat that? Be the awful person. That's the way to work it out.
It's working for me.
Come in wearing Crocs and PJ pants.
Bring your pillow from home.
Lean that seat back as far as it goes. Pull that tray out. Bang it up, down, forward, because everyone else does it. So screw it. Do it.
I have come and then even if you're in the back of the plane, the second you land and the doors open, you get out of your seat, you climb over that old lady, and you jet for the door because you're more important than everyone else. I have thought of a way that I can get people to leave me alone on the plane, though. If I just do that. So apparently that might get me the wrong attention. I've been informed. So, all right. So you sing along with wrestlers' theme songs at the top of your lungs. Yeah, only Vince Russo would find that fan interaction is just one of the worst things about wrestling.
God. Having fun.
Yeah, really.
Sucks, bro.
You are not there to have fun, bro. You're there to learn. You're there to let me teach you about entertainment.
Let me see if I got Vince Russo down. Vince Russo does not blow before the show. He does not get any sort of beers before the show or during the show. He just sits there like a stump on a rock.
Stump on a rock? Why? How did a stump get on a
stump
rock?
on a log?
You're thinking of a bump on a log.
There you go. Yeah.
I gave you 2 strikes.
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you, Mark Kern? Missed intro.
Mark Kern drums?
He don't get it. He don't get it, gentlemen.
Did we? How much of this do we think is Vince Russo's sour grapes because people weren't singing along with Attitude Era theme songs when he was writing? Like nobody was singing, or the 3 count.
Well, to Vince Russo, wrestling peaked at the Attitude Era, and and the only way to get back to good wrestling is to be the Attitude Era again. Like That's very clear from everything that he says. So if they didn't sing along with the Attitude Era, then he doesn't want you to sing along now.
But he's also a Christian, and he denounces a lot of the stuff he did during the Attitude Era.
Does he really?
That's his gimmick. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's his,
I say his first book is fascinating because half of it is written before he converted, and then the last half is written after.
Yeah,
and he
it's like that song from The Wedding Singer.
He actually put notes, like footnotes, in the previous chapters about how he felt about certain things. It was a very interesting read.
Oh my god,
it's so crazy because I've got a new Bible that's got a chapter in it called the Book of Russo.
Dave Meltzer is your god. If Dave Meltzer is your god, you might be a mark. Work rate in fake wrestling matches is important to you. How dare you think that matches should be good?
Well, I mean, do you want to watch a TV show with bad acting? Like what's his point? That I don't understand the point there at all, right?
I don't understand why a single wrestling fan watches or listens to his shows, because he has nothing but contempt for wrestling, and he says wrestling.
I will give him the work rate discussion a little bit, because half the time when people are talking about work rate, they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And then they have invented something called rope work.
What the
what?
Exactly. Oh man, the Bucks have such great rope work. And
wow,
I can't even say what it is. And I spent.
It was so stupid. Your brain literally.
Yeah, right.
Put it
I was about to say the same thing.
No, that was his Gold Dust impression that we were waiting for.
Stupid. The first time I heard it, I went through my entire. Let me call the wrestlers I know who do this for a living, and go, has anybody said this around any of you anywhere at any point in time? And the response was unanimous. No, that sounds gay. And sure enough, here they're talking about it. This is a thing.
They use the F word.
Yes, they did.
You hate any form of entertainment in your wrestling. All right, well, he's got a point there.
I hate any form of entertainment in your wrestling.
Well, the guys that are like sports, the guys that say sports entertainment like it's a curse, they're the ones that think that the Jericho MJF musical number was somehow not sports entertainment, or the football field match is somehow not sports entertainment. Like, it's the definition of sports entertainment.
But aren't those people? Okay. Wait. Okay. Are you? We're on the. Okay. You hate any.
We're on the bullet point.
Wrestling, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So those people are marks, but also you sing along with wrestlers' theme song people are marks, and those are like altogether would be about 100% of wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the ones that don't that want the entertainment sing along, and the ones who don't want entertainment don't sing along. So there you go. That's everyone. We're all marks, people.
You orgasm over Japanese wrestling. By the way, that is misspelled. This guy is supposed to be a writer. Also, are you noticing how he's capitalizing random words?
Dude. Organism.
You have an organism in your pants over Japanese wrestling. You are opposed to seeing attractive women capitalized for some reason in wrestling.
Big booty bitches.
Oh my gosh. You walk around the arena with a championship belt over your shoulder. Okay.
That's like going to see Rush while wearing a shirt of Rush.
Don't people do that?
Yeah. No. Wait, what?
I'm going to agree with Vince Russo on this one.
Yeah, I hate the belt.
Like, what
Yeah,
are you doing with that thing?
Wait.
Who
We've
did
moved
you
on
beat?
We've moved on far too fast from this. Marv, do you not understand that you're not supposed to wear the band shirt that you're going to
I don't go
see?
to concerts. I have no idea. You're really not supposed to wear the.
Well, yeah, please explain this one to me.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You didn't know that either?
Well,
Okay, yeah. You don't.
Before you guys jump on him, yes, this is explaining an actual thing.
Yeah, you're supposed to wear a shirt of a band that you like that you want other people to know about. You can buy a shirt of the band there and put in a bag and take it home with you. But if you wear the shirt, because the idea is that you wear shirts to build awareness for bands. Not
Okay, so is this like legend? Is this like stuff that's passed down from like your concert going like trainer at that point? Like how do you learn this?
When I started going to concerts at clubs when I was like 16, 15 years old, of course the first one you go to, you wear a band, the band who's there, and then you immediately get people like yelling at you or calling you a nerd or something like that. If you go to if you go to a punk rock show, like that's where I was going, is like punk rock shows. So they were always,
and you said, I believe you were the guy that set up in front of the door and was like, "Hey guys, we're collecting for the band tonight. It's a $10 cover charge," and then you ran home, right?
We can't talk about that show anymore. That show was canceled, and it was canceled and it was canceled.
Let's see.
Getting his concert philosophy from a guy doing meth.
By the way,
corner of the.
If you're a kid, carry around all the belts that you want to carry around.
Yes,
but
after 16, over.
Like seriously, like, are you going to defend it? Are you here to defend that? Like, can I? Like, if I club you in the head, can I take it?
That should be a rule. We should start that.
If you bring a belt to a wrestling show, you should be forced to defend it.
Yeah.
So where can you bring a belt though? Like, is a convention okay?
No.
If you're cosplaying as like the Macho Man Randy Savage, then fine, wear the belt.
See, a convention, I think it's okay because number one, you probably want to get it signed or something, know, and you want to get your picture taken with people and hold the belt and stuff like that. I think I get it. Of course. And and also, I don't know. I personally would never hold the belt. I will say though that it was cool when someone else brought a belt and let Max hold it, and I got to take some pictures of Max with the belt. That was neat. I imagine if you don't have a lot of friends, I bet taking a belt to a wrestling show would get a lot of people to talk to you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Would it? Because if I saw a guy walking around by himself with a wrestling belt over his shoulder, he's the last person I'm saying hello to.
I got a question, gentlemen. Did any of you guys, when you were younger, make your own wrestling championship belts?
Everybody did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Max made me one 3 weeks ago. Awful.
Okay.
I got in trouble because I super glued a paper plate to one of my dad's actual belts and drew on it.
I made a Stanley Cup out of wine holders, like the old wine cans that you used to get that looked like urns, kind of a little bit.
That, by the way, that wasn't even me trying to be a wrestling fan as a kid because I wasn't watching wrestling yet. That was me trying to play Rocky.
Oh my God, Rocky was your hero.
Oh, I love
Rocky. Was my hero.
I was Italian in the Northeast. Of course, Rocky was my hero. Let's see.
Rocky's the reason I like wrestling. That's what, because I didn't know about wrestling until I saw Rocky 3 and Thunder Lips, and I wanted to see who that was. So
you rent space free of charge in your mom's basement.
Oh, got him.
Oh, well, your misfortune, brother, is the source of hilarity.
Not to be confused with me, who rents space free of charge at my in-laws' house because it's not the basement. I don't know if he does or if he doesn't, but I thought I heard somewhere that he was forced to move in with his in-laws. You are part of a tribe that loves one wrestling brand and hates the other wrestling brand.
Oh, guys. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're Marks.
Sorry. Well, awful. You don't like either, technically. So
yeah, they really do think that I'm like a big for WWE, and it's just not the case. I mean,
okay, wait. My favorite one. You hate Vince Russo. So 90. So all of the Spike TV executives are Marks. Jim Cornette's a Mark. Disco Inferno's a Mark.
Shout out to Hameen Media Group, but please do not tag me in any more Vince Russo clips on Twitter. Thank you.
You are offended if anyone refers to you as a mark.
Okay, what happened between Vince Russo and Disco Inferno?
Didn't Disco Inferno start like, I don't know if it was just like them like joshing each other or whatnot, but I saw Disco Inferno going at him on X over something a while back.
Oh, okay.
Disco's at the point where he just tells him stop watching. No one cares.
Oh,
Stop
okay.
watching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know
it's the same dynamic as Kevin and Marv over there. Same thing.
So it's
no, we're not
that man capes.
Is Vince Russo a mark? Because he's making a list. Well, he's making a list saying that these make you a mark, right? So obviously to him, mark is an insult. And then one of the things is you are offended if anyone refers to you as a mark. So did he just call himself a mark?
I'm not a mark, bro. I'm offended by that.
I mean, it is the N-word for wrestling, right? That's what we found.
Remember when they tried to say that?
Oh, God.
Dave Meltzer.
Dave Meltzer tried to push that.
Dave Meltzer said that? I remember AEW fans saying it.
Yeah, we played the clip.
Yeah, it's like the N-word, and I say that as an old white man who's never been called that before.
Yeah, really.
What's up, my marks?
He might have been called a K, but not an N.
It's our word. It's not your word.
Anyway, can we talk about all the rappers on Raw?
Bunch of marks, if you ask me.
Oh, that's what he does. He starts using it like that.
Yep, it's how he says. It's like how people used to say Canadians.
Oh no, I thought I was saying.
Hold on, awful Kev. Forget that we said that. You guys aren't supposed to know about that.
No, right? Yeah.
Canadian, that's something else where I'm at. But I'm gonna tell you what it is. We'll definitely be demonetized.
I'll hear it later, I'm sure.
I'd love to watch NXT, but it's filled with too many marks.
Yeah,
I got cut off in traffic by this stupid mark.
The thing about marks is how lazy they are.
Yeah, always late.
Bringing down my property value.
2 marks got me at gunpoint. All right, we're done.
Well, all the crime in the country is committed by marks.
16%, 56% of marks.
Well, most of the violent crime is mark on mark violence.
Why are all these marks dating all of our women?
My daughter came home with a mark, and I said, "Not on my watch."
This is their chance, Kev. So you got to give it to them.
Get it out.
Get it all out while you can.
It's the best segment we've ever done. They're good at basketball.
See, there you go.
Marks have that extra bone in their leg. It's why they're such good athletes.
You're not getting this on JD from New York or Solomon, so that's for damn sure.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You honestly, I'm sorry, I'm doing it as Meltzer. You honestly believe that Triple H or Tony Khan are true bookers of the year? Because he thinks he's a wrestling booker and they're not.
Who else?
Somebody said my wife left me for a mark.
Well, once you go mark.
Oh my God.
Once you go mark, there's no stopping that spark.
Look at that beard. Look at Kev is done. Kev is so done with this.
Oh my God. He wants to log off now, but I'm for it. I'll represent.
You cried when Cody Rhodes finished his story and beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's right. Having emotions and being emotionally connected to stories makes you a mark.
Samantha.
Right.
You if you're married to Ricochet and got shadow banned on YouTube, you might be a mark.
Also, wash your hands.
You make every excuse in the book when your brand's rating is down for the week.
Oh,
I'm over here now. Oh, mercifully, this segment's over.
Little Miss Muppet sat on it. No respect. Now I'm Rodney Dangerfield. We're just going out. I
get no respect. How what is happening? This is like I could do voices too.
Ladybugs, the movie. You might be a mark.
Okay.
All right.
Mark, shortchanged me.
Woo. Okay, let's talk about Ricochet or something.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's move on to Twitter. Twitter Ricky. So Twitter Ricky is what our friend Alfred Kanua now calls Ricochet, and I love the nickname. It's absolutely perfect for him.
Such a mark.
Yeah. So.
Jeez. Oh, no, because you said it about him and some. Never mind.
So if you so I guess Alfred's been criticizing Ricochet, and Ricochet fired back, and he said, "It's obvious that Alfred is a cancer. It shows that anyone who claims to love wrestling and then covers it like he does, in fact, not love wrestling, but only wants fame and attention that comes from covering sports. Dude is a lowlife." And then, of course, Phil from Pro Wrestling Times goes, "This is objectively retarded." I love you, Phil.
What did Ricochet get into the business for? To do the best backflip or to execute the best armbar
and only be talked about positively.
Yeah.
And so then he goes, "You follow more people than what follows you. Ha 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 ha, effing loser." And then Phil goes, "Yeah, because I support wrestlers. That's not an own."
Dude, when somebody goes to the follower count argument, it's over. You lost. Yeah.
You've already lost.
Phil do be following though. That's true.
Yeah, because he likes to follow people. I don't see a problem with that. All right. So here is what Alfred did in response. We've got to watch this and comment on it because it's just perfect. Kev, have you seen this?
Oh yes, so many times.
It's perfect.
To the people who say you're not a good promo, does that ever get to you?
People who say I'm a bad promo or who say I don't know how to talk promos, they hate wrestling. Those people don't like wrestling. And when I do I'm sorry, can I do this again?
No, we're on live, pal.
When I do promos, I'm talking from my heart in my chest. And that's why I'm actually a good promo, because I mean what I say and I say what I tweet. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I'm not all that good at talking. Can I just tweet what my feelings are and why I'm a good promo?
Can you tweet your response?
Can I just tweet why I'm a good promo?
No, man. I flew you out to the studio so that we could have a conversation.
Hold on.
I didn't pay you $47 in KY jelly so you could just tweet. The guy looked like DJ Tony Khan.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a lot longer than that, guys, but we don't want to give it all away. So head on over to Pro Wrestling Bits and watch his full video because it's so funny.
Yeah, it's a sneak diss on Vlad too, by the way. Because I'm not a fan of Vlad, so
yeah, no, why would he be?
Yeah. I love the ASMR music in the background. I dig it.
the lady running in the field in a sundress.
Yeah.
Twitter Ricky. I love it.
So who here has actually had interactions with Ricochet on Twitter?
I don't think I ever have.
Dude, he won't touch me. He'll go after everybody else. Will not touch. Not that I'm looking for it, but like, yeah, he avoids me like the plague.
Wow, I'm surprised. He's usually.
Yeah.
I think Beard might have. I know he like blocked me for a while. So
Beard's
I don't know
the
if
final
it's still
fucking
blocked
boss.
or not.
So I mean,
Beard is the final boss.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Him or Gangster Bob.
Can somebody throw Alfred's channel in the a link to Alfred's channel in the chat, because people are asking about it, and I want to make sure that we send people his way. Pro Wrestling
correct,
Bits. All right, we got some super chats to get to. John Williams 199 says, "We don't look alike, Booker T with a bad mic."
How dare you? I know who he's talking about. I sound Chris.
Uncultured Barbarian for $5 says, "Any chance of us getting a Pascal Meltzer mashup vid? And the voiceover stuff needs more Dave Schultz."
I hate tear.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come here, you.
I'm here to let you ruin my night with some limp wrist lady wrestling talk.
Oh my god! My favorite thing is still at home with Dave Schultz when he looks at the sink and goes, "What is this? The city dump?"
Best line ever.
How quickly did you use that awful?
Oh, within 5 minutes.
Like, did you wake your wife up to go like bring her down to the kitchen and say the line?
No, she would have kicked my ass.
Yeah, that's true. JJ Gosling for £2 sterling says, "In my opinion, the best wrestling is on YouTube, WWE Archive." I love the WWE Archive stuff. Yeah. They've been doing these compilations where it's like it'll be like when Hulkamania proved that it still ruled, and it's like Hogan's entire run from after WrestleMania 18, or it'll be like the entire Crow Sting thing, or the formation of the Wolf Pack was the one I was just watching. It's so good. I love it, man. They're doing good stuff.
The rise and fall of the Wolf Pack.
Well, I don't think they went into the fall, but they definitely went into the rise of the Wolf Pack. I love the Wolf Pack, man.
So work for me, brother. I want to be red.
Yep, and that's when Wolfpack fell, when Hulk Hogan decided it was too cool and he needed to be a part of it. Nothing kills cool like Hulk Hogan becoming a part of it, right?
Hogan was cool for about 6-7 weeks during that NWO run.
Yeah. No, Hall and Nash were cool. Hogan got the residual cool.
True. It's kind of like what this does with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Andre Adams for $1.99 says, "Isn't hating Vince Russo a sign of intelligence?" One would assume, but maybe you might be a mark. So Zach K for $4.99 says, "Russo goes, bro, you are a mark if you pretend to throat go to Rainbow Stick, bro, or pretend to be a fan of Ghostbusters 2016, bro." Did Pedro say that he was a fan of Ghostbusters 2016? I wouldn't put it past him.
I'm sure he would have. Leslie Jones is a beautiful woman.
She's a tour de force on the screen.
Ricky Murray for $5 says, "Didn't Russo write a concept for a show called Bitch Slap in one of his books?" Yep. We went through the whole Bitch Slap roster on a recent episode, and it is one of the funniest segments we've ever done with Toxic Shock. And, yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Liquid Fox for 2,000 Canadian says, "Who's worse, Russo or Bucky Beaver or Meltzer?" Now, Bucky Beaver does not mean Bucky's, the greatest rest stop on the face of the planet. No, he means Kevin Dunn. In terms of damage to wrestling, I would say Kevin Dunn probably, but because Kevin Dunn's damage to wrestling spanned decades. Vince Russo was in and out in like 10 years.
My friend, Vince Russo, he was caught red-handed, whereas Kevin Dunn got to slide off into the sunset with his terrible. And it's not like it affected anything that WWE was doing. It was just bad camera shots, everything else. But Vince Russo, he was writing bad television. He was putting it out there as bad television. But I think there was a big difference.
All B booty bitches and bacon with big boobies for $2 says, "Say my name, I will appear." Good Lord. Oh, I love it. I always love the avatars. Maddie for $1.99 says, read it as Scott Steiner.
Hey,
Russo, you're a mark. Griga for $5 says, love the show. We'll listen to the replay at work. Also, AEW is coming to Ontario, California for the 300th. Haven't watched AEW for a while. Skip? Yeah, maybe skip.
I don't know. It's the 300th. I hear that the Ontario show they have something big planned for it. So if it's cheap and you want to have a fun night, maybe go out and have a laugh and take some
the
hard
area
cam
of
shots.
Empty seats will be big.
Yeah, you know. Oh, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was talking about this when I was out at Backlash, and I don't mind going to bad shows if they're cheap and I have friends to go with, because it's just like you go to a ball.
Very good.
No, it's just like, it's an alternative to going out to a bar or going to a wrestling. Pay $10 to go see a wrestling show. Who cares? It'll be a fun time. I don't know.
All right. Well, if it's $10,
Kev does not agree.
Like, I have been to my share of bad indie shows, and there is the time when an indie show is a certain level of bad, you move into some like alternate time pocket where everything goes to a crawl and just matches just keep somehow getting added onto the card as it goes along. There's nothing more painful.
Not end.
I went to a wrestling show yeah, right. I went to a wrestling show in Scranton.
No more.
Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Awful.
I went to a show in Scranton about, 15 years ago. The thing took place in a garage, and there were 30 people there. It was to the point where my roommate at the time wanted to become a wrestler. So, they allowed him to get into the ring, and perform his stupid moves. Now that I look back in hindsight, but yeah, 30 people at a show. Like, how do you even survive in something like that?
I went to a show at a skate park, and there were more kids skating than watching wrestling. So I've been to some bad shows too.
Juan Alacan for $10 says, why anyone is still listening to Russo, who has said many times he's quitting anything wrestling related, is beyond me. Of course, he would have you're a mark if you hate Vince Russo. Russo went full TK. Russo was TK before TK was TK, which is hysterical because they hate each other. Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian. Yeah, too far. I would say too far.
My Marcas. He didn't do it with an R. So
no, he got the soft A in there though. I mean, like we weren't actually like adjusting the word.
Awful. That's our word. That's not your word.
Yeah, I bet. Markers.
John Williams for $4.99 goes, remember, Russo got upset that Vince didn't show much emotion when Russo told him he was leaving. Yeah, like, what the hell did you expect, man?
By the way, Kev, I saw that Thomas Sowell poster behind you. Wince. Whatever.
You might be a mark if you know who that is in the poster behind Kevin Apollo. JJ Gosling for £2 says, when did Russo become Dice Clay?
It's like Russo mixed with Dice Clay mixed with Jeff Foxworthy.
I'm over here now.
You're over here.
I'm podcasting over here.
Oh my goodness. All right. Taking a break from the super chats to jump back into the articles, guys. You know what? Let's talk about our main story of the night. So, while AEW Collision was going on and heading into the final half hour, all of a sudden, as we're heading into the finale of the show just suddenly kind of cut out and Black Adam came on. Finally, The Rock has come back to TNT.
You were never on TNT.
No, so walk us. So I saw all the Twitter reactions, and it was all gold. It was all gold. So people were wondering if people were wondering this. Why don't you walk us through it? You know it a little better.
Okay, so it happened at 9:27 Eastern. Apparently is when it happened. You can actually see it. I got the chart from our good friend Brandon Thurston, friend of the show.
Oh yeah, big time,
big friend of the show,
big supporter of everything that we do.
Yeah, they were actually trending upward. They had 9 to 9:15. They had 432K, and then they probably would have gotten back there if they had the extra 3 minutes. But at 9:27, that is when it got cut off. So at that point, Tony Khan kind of started panicking a little bit. Well, but he didn't panic at first. He did post this tweet here. Hey, we're having technical problems with our studio transmission. Sorry for the inconvenience to all of you great fans, but don't worry. Excuse me. The show's going to be up on Max. It's going to be on, and if you just tune over, like if you have DirecTV or you have Dish Network, you can flip one channel down, get to the West stream, and it's on its entirety on TNT Drama West. So he was pretty sure. He's like, hey, you know what? It wasn't good, but it's not that big of a deal.
Didn't verify nothing. Didn't confirm with anybody. Just went and tweeted.
So that's at 8:39 my time. So that would be 9:39. It's roughly 12 minutes after it went off. So the next one goes up at 8:53, and he goes, okay, if you go to the TNT Drama app, okay, it's available on almost everything. That has the West Coast feed. You can watch it there, and it'll be available completely in its entirety on TNT West and Max after the show. 8:53. Fully convinced that is going to be what happens.
Incredible.
That's where we are.
Unbelievable.
So, and then let me see here. Did I get? Okay, same thing. So then we go down here. Why are these all the same? Okay, there it is. Oh, because I'm not removing the old one. I didn't know you had to remove the old one, Marv.
Apparently.
Let's go back there then. You see, you should have let me do this. Why'd you let me do this?
Because I had to check on something work related in the background, and I figured you could hold the fort down for 5 minutes without everything falling apart.
I got it.
All right.
If you don't know how to use StreamYard, you might be a mock.
I thought you could just go over it. So then, okay, this is his third one. Thank you, everybody who watched this AEW. I'm sorry we had technical issues. You can see all of it on TNT Drama West or the West tab on the TNT app. Does not mention Max anymore on that one, right? Then his fourth one came up. See, I removed it that time. His fourth one came up. I'm sorry, technical issues with the transmission affected the final 30 minutes of the feed earlier. You can see all of it if you go to TNT West now or on the TNT Drama app. So he's saying it's on the app, it's on West. This is about 10 minutes after it ended. He did 4 more tweets in the next hour. I didn't take all of them. I just went to this one. And his final tweet was, there are ongoing transmission issues on tonight's segment at AEW Collision. I'm so sorry. We were all expecting a full version to play on TNT Drama West. But right now, an ongoing technical issue that all believed to be fixed is still affecting the transmission of the final half hour, even on TNT West.
Apparently, Collision was it was with AOL dial-up capabilities.
So we'll get the full show up on Stream on Max ASAP. I'm so sorry for this hassle. Awful. Is it up on Max?
No,
it's still not on Max. And it's so funny because I wish I would have screenshotted the tweet, but there was somebody or some entity that belonged to WDB or WBD or TNT that said, like, no, they didn't like AEW didn't supply us with like a full recording of the show or something like that. God bless it. I hate giving out false information on a
no. They did it. Okay,
comedy show.
It was on Blue Sky. It was on Blue Sky.
That's right. Yeah,
and it wasn't from an official TNT account. No TNT account has mentioned anything about this.
True.
They're acting like I was saying on mine. If this happened with SmackDown and USA, they would have replayed SmackDown 3 times by now on USA Network, and USA would be sending out apologies. No one on any official TNT thing has put out anything saying it's going to re-air. Here's how you find it. All your information is coming from Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer. And the guy from TNT, if you listen to Tony, he makes it sound like it is TNT's fault. The guy from TNT was much more vague about it.
Right.
He said something like, I don't think it was on the like it was very vague. You know, he was trying to not say who was at fault. So it might have been a TNT problem, but I think Phil actually had the best theory, in my opinion, which is that no one checked the rendering after they completed the show.
It's definitely possible. Look, I don't think WBD puts 2 seconds worth of effort into airing this show.
No. And what does that tell you about the relationship? Like, I know Awful is convinced that they did it on purpose. Convinced.
No, there's no way they torpedoed themselves on purpose. Because it makes the network look bad.
And when was WBD interested in making their company look good? Please tell me, Marv.
Well, that's all right. That's valid.
I mean, you do not. Can we go back to the chart for just 1 second?
Sure.
You do not. As your show is growing by leaps and bounds from 382 to 430, you look at that number and you're like, and this is just guesswork based on absolutely nothing but my conviction and my gut, is that you look at the fourth quarter and you see 393, and that's where you make the call. Listen, this show is not moving anywhere, folks. They've got minute by minute updates just like Marv does with this show. So the bottom line is WBD was just like, we're not interested in because remember, Collision aired last week with the same abysmal numbers. So WBD has had enough. I think a phone call was made. You do not show. See how AEW has no contingency plan, but WBD or TNT or TBS does. They were able to put on Black Adam within seconds.
Nah.
Well, how do you? It might have been the next thing that was supposed to air.
Yeah, that's why I give credit to Phil's idea that it was a rendering issue, because if they just loaded it up, assuming that it was the exact right time frame, the next thing that it would automatically roll into is the movie that goes on after. And the fact that it did makes me think that they set up a playlist just like you set up a playlist on YouTube, right? You just go through and you say, okay, this video, and they know how long each one is supposed to be. They fit them in the time slot, and no one bothered checking the rendering on it.
When you say no one bothered checking the rendering on it, do you think AEW didn't bother checking the rendering on it? Because you don't create a chyron, you don't create a graphic, you don't have a movie ready to go within seconds. It's almost like WBD knew that they had.
I said,
AEW. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it was just a playlist. I think it was just on their program, whatever they use to program television. The next thing that was supposed to air, if Dynamite went off at 8:58 Eastern, or it would go on at 8:58 Eastern, just because it's the next thing, and that way they never have dead air. You know.
Yeah. No, this is right. Awful. I think that you're letting your hatred cloud your judgment here.
You guys in 90 days, because you know how this goes. It's always a backstory. I think I mentioned this to this in the back chat. Remember when Eric Bischoff was talking about like how people were like slowly coming into the offices of Turner Broadcasting and reworking things? This was months before you could actually see the repercussions of it on television. So that's what I think is happening now. Like there were things happening behind the scenes, and now we're starting to get a clearer picture of what's going on. WBD is sending warning shots. But again, I'm ignorant.
I'll put it like this. They probably look at an infomercial with the same amount of value, because clearly no one cares enough about the show to double check the pre-program playlist.
Yeah, because like you said, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And they didn't care enough to try to fix it either.
Yeah, when you said earlier, you said, are you saying AEW didn't check, or are you saying WBD didn't check?
I'm saying AEW didn't check.
No,
WBD
I'm saying,
found out. And
I'm saying
cut this mess.
I'm saying neither of them cared enough to check, and I think that is worse. I think that is worse because if they pulled AEW to try to send them a message, that means that they care. They don't care. They didn't even check the program. They were told, and they haven't mentioned it. I went to the TNT US PR account looking for posts anywhere, anything, nothing.
Oh, so WBD hasn't done like a, hey guys, we're sorry, our show got cut off. And
an executive for WBD posted on his personal account on Blue Sky. That's the only thing they've said, and none of them have said anything about it. Anyway, the PR site, you know what the first tweet was? It was about Jackie Redmond. It was advertising the fact that Jackie Redmond from WWE was going to be doing reporting on a hockey game. That was the first one on the TNT PR site. And there was nothing about AEW anywhere. Oh. And I did a search on it, and there's one post in the history of that Twitter account. There's one post that mentioned AEW, and it was just like, we have hockey, we have NBA, we have baseball, and AEW, and we also have soccer. You know, like that was the tweet.
The thing that I enjoyed the most about it, though, was that it gave us a Tony Khan hissy fit slowly degenerating into madness thing, and we haven't had a good one of those in a very long time. So it's just amazing where he's just like, guys, don't worry, it's coming back, it's gonna be on Max. Okay, all right, so we're gonna skywrite the results in the sky, and then we're gonna okay, so the plane ran out of gas and crashed into the Andes Mountains, but we're gonna be doing a different thing over here. Like it's just been it was just chef's kiss, deranged, panicked, whiny tantrum Tony Khan. And I've missed that.
Yeah, and it also shows you that AEW has no leverage at all. They can't even point like go back to the WWE comparison. If this happened with SmackDown on USA, WWE would put out a post blaming USA and saying it is their fault because they have leverage in that relationship and they can use this to make more money. AEW didn't blame anyone. They don't have any leverage with WBD at all. Nothing. 0%.
I was about to show that the AEW Minister of Propaganda sounded off on this disc, but a lot of the things that you had up here are gone.
They left?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Meltzer segment. Okay, I can fix that. You keep going.
Okay. Yeah, no, so Meltzer was trying to do the same thing. Like Meltzer and Tony were essentially cutting the same promo on Twitter just about how things were going to get fixed and they were going to put it back on Max, and then they didn't put it on Max. And then Meltzer was like, they're putting it on Max right now. And he gave a link, and the link was to TNT, not Max.
They were the only two horns blowing on Twitter about this entire thing. The only big wigs that no other executive aside from, I guess, the guy in the blue sky, but that's ridiculous. How do you not have? Tony Khan's a moron. Like, he's the only one that is blasting out these announcements along with Dave Meltzer. No one finds that a little strange.
I mean, it's strange that TNT did not immediately put up a hey, we had technical difficulties on one of our channels. We're working to fix the situation. We apologize for any inconvenience. Right. That just goes to show they probably didn't even realize that it happened.
Didn't even care.
They did put a scroll on the bottom of Black Adam, but all it said was, this is why Black Adam is playing. It wasn't about,
it didn't say the word. It didn't say the words AEW on it.
No, it did, because it said, there were technical problems with AEW Collision, so we are airing Black Adam. That's all it was. That's all it was. It wasn't them taking responsibility or giving a reason or telling people where to find it. It was just here's what happened. So
WrestleGraphs seems, shout out to WrestleGraphs, they seem to believe that Tony Khan threw WBD under the bus with these.
Awful, you're quiet.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, you're.
Let me fix that. Anyway, I don't know what's going on. I'll fix it.
Yeah, it sounds like you aren't even using your mic anymore. What's going on?
What is going on?
It's been a long time since we've had to take a break from the show for awful technical technical issues.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty good recently. What happened?
We're about to play Black Adam over awful's technical issues.
Well,
and then people will think that we did it on purpose.
I actually don't know if it's awful because StreamYard also kicked my other account that I had on here for all those programs. So there might be something going on with StreamYard too. To be fair to awful. I don't know if I should be though. Awful, are you dead? Where'd Kev go? Kev disappeared.
It's
Kev started sleeping, so he went to take a nap.
So we're having a great time here. Why don't you? What can we do? Awful, are you good? How's your mic?
How do I sound?
I mean,
still quiet.
You sound fine. Whatever. I'm not going to sit here and do
right.
Sound checks on your mic. So
thank you.
So do we have those Meltzer tweets, or are we just going to move on without them?
I mean, it was only one tweet and you explained it.
Okay.
I'll have it up, but it'll be about 5 minutes because I have to everything.
Well, you know what? It's possible though that maybe like people were reacting negatively to Collision online, and so then Tony just cut it.
Do you think that's actually possible?
Yes.
As we saw. Okay. The got it explained that the theme music, the new theme music here for Mina.
Yeah, they gave Mina a new theme, and people on Twitter didn't like it. And by the end of the match, they changed it back to her old music. So,
and then I love somebody literally asked him, did he check Twitter to see everyone ragging on the Mina theme, and then decided to change it back on the fly? And he responds, "Yeah."
So.
Like, really, dude? Like, why? Why are you letting these people know that you're giving them more power? It's not good.
Yep.
Tony Khan, I've said it before, he responds to bullying. If you want to get something out of Tony Khan, just bully him. And eventually,
like Mercedes Moné getting her contract.
Yes. Or, like John Moxley getting to do whatever he wants. He kowtows to this stuff. And you got to look at when this stuff happens in other places, you have to give something time for people to like it. You went to the effort of giving her a new theme song and you gave it one try. It's not like
and how many people do you think legitimately had an issue with it on X?
Right. Even if it was on X, those are people on X. Okay. And it wasn't trending. It's not like the internet was blowing up because they hated her theme song. I looked, it was like, there were a few people that were like, where'd you do it? But I think you get that whenever you change anyone's theme song.
These guys must have amazing ears because whenever you watch Dynamite and they do their little intros for all these wrestlers, you can barely hear the music.
Oh yeah, they don't put it. Yeah, they don't mic it through the TV. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but they he's so reactionary. Go ahead.
I was going to say the cherry on top of this entire situation is that it was The Rock.
I could just imagine. Because I'm sure Meltzer must be torn here, right? Because his good friend Dwayne got to push his movie, but it took away his good friend Tony. So I don't know how he feels right now.
The only thing that would have made this whole experience better would have been if it was the Marine, and it was John Cena popping in. That's the only thing that would have made it better, because it would have made them even more angry.
That is so crazy. WBD's got thousands of properties, thousands of movies. They play Black Adam. Think about that.
To be fair, it was what was coming on next. Do you remember? I mean, I don't know why we're so surprised. Didn't it get bumped a few weeks ago for the Avengers? They put it on a different network for the Avengers.
They did because they were playing an Avengers marathon. Yeah.
So they put it on. So they just don't care. And like I said, the fact that they don't care is worse than if they were actually trying to send a message.
That's more evidence for my theory, actually. The fact that they're playing superhero movies, they're trying to figure out, like, okay, how's this going to do? How's this rating going to go?
Superhero movies and Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's what does it.
I think Awful's 100% right.
Yeah.
You think that they purposely did it?
No, I think they're experimenting with what's going to work in the time slot because they know that this is a dud and they're just riding this out.
I wonder if it's like a WBD versus Discovery thing, or if they're all just kind of aligned and being like, yeah, this isn't doing well. Like, are the WB guys for it, and the Discovery guys are like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know.
I think this will be an instance where they're all simpatico because TNT and TBS are one of the only things that actually makes money. So, they're losing the NBA. And it's highly unlikely that they're going to want to pretend to try to get to UFC. So now you got to scramble to figure out how you stop TNT and TBS from hemorrhaging money. And they know no one's watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
Meltzer did another tweet where he was like, well, the show was doing really good ratings-wise until it shut down. With no other sports, but people on Max were probably a lot more.
Wow.
Now that one I do have, but it's in the Meltzer segment. That was where
I would love to know. Joseph J. Alexander said in the chat that the Black
that.
Adam, drew 500,000 viewers.
Really? I didn't see
really?
that. I couldn't find. I never.
I would love to know about that. Yeah.
Black Adam, a movie that bombed at the box office. Bombed.
Well, and it's years old at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
Years old.
It was a years old movie. That was the movie that made Warner Brothers be like, why don't we just reboot the whole universe?
Fire
the Rock and reboot the whole universe.
Yeah. Get rid of the Rock.
Drove the Rock back to professional wrestling. but it takes over for professional wrestling on TNT.
Does it though?
Yep.
It apparently did. I didn't see the 500,000 number, and like I said, I'm never good about finding other ratings. But yeah, here it is. That's where he said to go to Max, and then he linked to TNT.
The rest of Collision and the entire episode is up on Max at TNTdrama.com, which, as you know, goes right to Max. I'm convinced he doesn't actually know what Max is.
Yeah, that's just boomer stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like Goofy's son.
Yeah. You beat me to it, this.
He's gonna stand out above the crowd. So, all right, guys. Do we want to? Where do we want to go next? Do we want to go to Meltzer, or do we want to go to this indie guy railing at Jim Cornette?
Go to Meltzer.
Yeah, get Meltzer out of the way first.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I would have gone the other way, but you guys want to do it, and so let's do it.
I heard you did.
All right, guys, we'll see what I call that, Dave, for you. First of all, Dave Meltzer responded to Will Osprey's claim that WWE wrestlers are not as good as AEW guys in the ring. Let's see what he had to say.
Will Osprey.
So what did he say?
Osprey said, we smoke them in every field of wrestling. Like, we're just better. I respect them. I respect every single one of them. They're all vets. They know what they're doing. They're great at their job. They understand getting people on their feet. We are so much more of the better wrestling company than them. Like, our guys smoke them every single day of the week. They got good guys like Gunther, got great guys like Orton. They got good guys like Chad Gable. I respect all of them. But on our worst day, we smoke all of you guys.
On the worst.
Okay, first of all, Will Osprey's an idiot. Let's keep going with this.
Say no, but I mean, I think AEW is better wrestling than WWE. I think most people that watch both would say that. But I mean, there are things WWE does better than AEW. It just reminded me of when Vince McMahon and.
Oh, here we go. We gotta go back to Vince McMahon. He has, I've been seeing people say this about him lately. He has VDS. He has Vince derangement syndrome.
Yeah. Shout out Meltzer said what on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree with them that most people that watch both would say AEW is better, because I think way more AEW fans watch WWE than WWE fans watch AEW. So I think,
I think most AEW fans also watch WWE based on what I've seen.
Right.
So,
dude, they make engagement farming posts about it. I've seen pro AEW accounts on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. Whenever Monday comes around, whenever Friday comes around, every 5 minutes they're tweeting a video or something that just happened on WWE. So yeah,
right.
There are things WWE does better than AEW. It just reminded me of when Vince McMahon and Bryan Danielson talked. This was when Bryan Danielson was still in WWE, and Vince McMahon went to Bryan Danielson and basically said, "Why are they drawing so well? Why are they doing so well?"
Vince has never asked that in his life about AEW because they've never drawn well.
Right. Their peak episode was their first episode.
You know what?
Right.
I bet he's lumping in the first All In, because I could see Vince calling Dave for the first All In and being like, "How the hell did Cody do that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, Danielson. He was talking to Danielson about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I could see him do it saying that to Danielson.
He's not calling Dave.
No, dude. Vince called Dave all the time.
Yeah, back in like the 90s and 80s. It's not happening anymore.
I just
why are they drawing so well? Why are they doing so well? Brian was like, the wrestling's better. You know what I mean? Both companies have things that they do better than the other company. There's a lot that WWE does better than AEW. I mean, as far as like high-end wrestling, though, AEW is way above them in high-end wrestling.
What the hell does that even mean?
High-end wrestling. I study this.
The rope work is better.
Yeah.
They're the best rope work.
He's the guy that comes up with these new jargon words, believe it or not, like work rates.
You think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think Cornette blasted him on that maybe 6 years ago on his podcast.
Do you think he workshops it?
Yeah, of course he does.
He has like a notebook filled with like workshop, work rate and blah blah blah, just all the little terms that he comes up with and repeats them over and over and see if he hears them working. And he decided
that's got to be where they're hearing things. Yeah, that's got to be where they're hearing things like rope work from.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to come from him.
ChatGPT, tell me more about rope work.
I study this. All right, so we have a Roddy Piper clip about Dave Meltzer, right?
Yes.
All right, let's see what the hot rod had to say.
Backlot brawl with Dustin Rhodes. Lost his knuckle on his head. Tough kid. And then he got in this Cadillac. Dustin,
Great match,
I had a
by the
baseball
way.
bat. My normal odds. And Dustin was going to drive that Cadillac. It was on the Disney lot. And he needed to turn the corner. And he wanted to get out of that corner as fast as he could. And, obviously I knew he was coming at me. I was going to get out of the way. And I just looked at the car and I just said, fuck it. The only thing I was afraid of is I thought I was going to go under the Cadillac. So I thought, nah, as soon as it comes, I'll hit it hard, and at least I'll get up on it. So bottom line, boom, boom, Meltzer, bim, bim. I'm 99.9% sure it was a stuntman. You're 99.9% wrong again. And if you look at the piece of work, there's no cut. It's one shot. You can't do that, you fucking moron.
I miss him so much. I miss him every day.
Mark, you gotta clip that.
Rod.
You gotta clip that.
We gotta clip that.
Yeah.
That last...
Fucking move on. Fuck Hogan. But oh my god, seriously though.
If you haven't seen that match, by the way,
it's a fantastic
awesome.
Match. Roddy's right. There is no cut. I'm 99.9% sure that was a stunt man. Like, come on, man. You really think they would have been like, "Hey, Rod, we're gonna put a stunt man in here," and he would have been okay with it?
Yeah, it looked like he broke his ankle when he got hit by that car. It's one of the craziest matches. You want to see a real hardcore match? They were stiffing the hell out of each other. Roddy Piper swinging that bat around like he's got no sense. It's phenomenal.
The back of Dustin's head is busted open like instantly.
Yeah, they show a close-up shot of Roddy Piper grabbing Goldust's chin and popping him right in the mouth with a hard punch.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Oh, boy, off. We're in a fight. We're gonna fight.
You damn right.
The YouTube channel that made that video is called Rib Shot. RIBSHOT. They animate shoot interviews, and they have like a 10-minute clip of Piper talking about all Meltzer stories on there.
Oh, that sounds great.
So we could possibly clip more and have like a couple,
we need that. So. We definitely need that.
I didn't want to do it all at once, but
not all at once. Let's spread it out. I like that idea. But of course, one of Meltzer's more ridiculous statements. So somebody said first win this year when AEW defeated NXT in the ratings. And he goes, the entire year's been a win. He's shameless. He's utterly shameless. This mutant idiot.
He's always going to go back to the TV deal, right? That's always going to be his go-to.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a win because of the TV
now.
deal.
Yeah, and
Max, yeah. If you look, like Mole has been going off on this almost all week. It doesn't matter how much money you bring in on a TV deal if all that money is gone before the TV deal is up, and they spend money like crazy. Like I know awful. We heard a story a little while ago where, excuse me. Where Tony like waited too long to cancel an arena and had to pay for the employees there.
Yeah.
There's been
vendor payments.
There's been reports about like him missing payments to like companies like Triller. I don't know if that's why they're not on Triller this weekend, but it's that
they're not on Triller because Triller is 92 cents a share.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with WrestleGrass earlier, by the way, who just said like buy Triller. Why doesn't Tony just buy Triller? But
yeah, right.
What an awesome idea.
But they're missing payments. It's that mindset that you have when you grow up and you don't have to pay bills. You know what I mean? It's like he never had that point where he had to pay a bill. He never had that point where he had to get something on time or meet deadlines. He always had people, and God bless the fact that he had those people around him. He's a blessed man. But what happens if you don't have somebody who makes you deal with that stuff? You never do. So then when you get put out into the real world and have to run a company where you have to meet deadlines and you're the one in charge of that, and there's not going to be anyone cleaning up at, you can hire somebody to do it, but you're ultimately in charge of it. You're going to miss payments. And so it's things like they're paying $1,000 for things they should be paying $500 for. They're paying, they have to pay late fees. They have to do all that kind of stuff. And it's just because they don't have that mindset there. Tony doesn't have the mindset. So
it's been 5 years. They had 5 years to get this figured out. He owns 2 other sports organizations. So it's not like this isn't like Blank Check 2, where someone showed up and gave him all the money he needed to start his own wrestling fed, and he was learning on the go. There's already infrastructure in place. The fact that this little weasel doesn't have it in place is an ode to. It tells you how incompetent he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even Vince understood. I can't do this all by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Tony should not be the one writing checks to an arena. It's asinine. It's asinine. And the fact that 5 years in that he hasn't made even the slightest adjustments.
Nope.
Because he's been doing this perfectly since the day he started. Not one mistake has ever been made. He's the best, and that's all there is to say about it.
It just tells you how seriously this company should be taken and is taken, which is why your show got cut off by a 5-year-old movie that only made 220 million.
Right.
Yeah. When you look at it, the other side, and when they have failures, like you look at like WWE canceled the NXT taping that's coming up, right? Or they canceled the live show. Because it was on the back of the 4-day weekend. They were doing Battleground there, they were doing Saturday Night's Main Event, they're doing Raw, and then they were going to do NXT. And they canceled it because it drew 1,700 tickets, which, by the way, would be a big win in AEW. But WWE looked at this and they said, you know what? We're losing money. This was the Battleground selling well. Battleground sold like 6,000. Yeah, it's on there. 6,000 tickets. So it's doing well. Yeah. It's not a matter of NXT not being popular enough. It's a matter of it's the 4th show. And you know that Florida or Tampa bid and wanted this big 4-day thing, and it just didn't work. And they're in Florida anyway. So They can drive down the street and go do it at the performance center for free, refund everybody's money, and and it's because it's a business. Tony has no fallback like that. Tony has no idea, no concept of, if something's not working, to change it,
Look at this. Jay Evans just said a while back on Twitter, I said that TK thinks differently than the rest of us. Most billionaires do. They're in a different mindset. They don't think like we do. And some AEW dumbass thought I was crazy. Yeah, because they think Tony is just like them. They don't realize, like, imagine a life where you have literally never had to consider money for a second. It's just something that's there, something that exists. You get literally anything you want and don't have to think twice about it. It is a completely different way the mind works.
Yeah.
Actually, but a billionaire understands business intimately. They talk about it and they understand it on a whole radically different level. So when you're seeing deficiencies like this, it is a sign of just institutional weakness.
It also,
if Chad's company, this would be happening.
If I can make the point, I think Shad Khan looks at money differently. Yeah. Tony's not the billionaire. Tony is the billionaire's son. So for Tony, money is just always there. And Shad was not always a billionaire, I believe, right? Like he made his money. He worked for he's a self-made billionaire.
Yep.
He's an inventor.
Yeah. Well, it's a private. We've had this conversation before. Over the years, in my profession, I have seen two kinds of people: wealthy people who have made their own money, and wealthy people who have inherited their money, and they do function very differently.
Indeed. Dude, I worked in construction for a long time. I worked side by side with millionaires who got their money from the muscle, and they hold to their money like a kung fu grip. So to see how Tony and by the way, to sit on another point that this made, this is not to say that what the NXT what happened with NXT was a good business move. WWE fumbled that ball. They should have never lumped NXT.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that was a terrible mistake. But they corrected it quickly.
Yeah, they corrected it.
That's the difference.
That's what I'm saying. They have the ability to admit a mistake, right? Tony
and
cannot,
move on.
Tony cannot admit to a mistake. Like I was having a conversation with Awful about this, where it's like they should have done something. Here's what they should do for a make good for Collision. And it's a great PR move and it fills up a building. Say, you know what? One day we're going to give free tickets to All In. We're going to give everyone free tickets to All In one day.
12 hours.
12 hours. Yeah. 12 hours. Come and get them. Let's, upper level. They're not great tickets, but they're free. They'll get a few upsells on it. They'll fill up the arena that they weren't, or they'll fill up the stadium they weren't going to fill up anyway. It'll look better on television, and they'll sell some merch off of it. But instead, they bury it. They don't want to admit. They don't want to draw attention to their mistakes. They should have done something for Grand Slam in Australia. They should have given everybody in the arena a free T-shirt or something like that for what they did. Nothing. They didn't even admit to the mistake. This is WWE admitting to the mistake. Sure, they didn't put out a press release. But they're not hiding it. You know what I mean?
Hasn't AEW canceled a bunch of shows too recently?
Yeah, and they cancel them. Yeah, they've canceled. But they do it like 3 months in advance. You know what I mean? Like I don't know those I don't even see as. I don't know.
There was no interest. So even if they had sold some tickets with as the show got closer, it wouldn't have been enough for them to even want to run it. So they cut bait. Yeah, at least listen, this is where they went more with Tampa. Tampa's on NXT's regular tour schedule. So there is no urgency to go see NXT when WWE proper is in your town and for an entire weekend.
Right.
I just gotta wait 2 weeks.
Right.
So we got some more Meltzer stuff going on. Meltzer and Brian Alvarez had another one of their classic brawls. where so there's 4 videos embedded in this one tweet. So let's take a look. So Meltzer says called this a meltdown, and that's my new favorite thing.
By the way, you mentioned Solo Sikoa being protected.
When Brian talks to Dave, you can if you can't see him, you can hear the smirk. The
Brian talks like a smirk though, like.
Yeah, but when he talks to Dave about this kind of stuff, like you could, there is just I'm talking to an absolute retard smirk on his face.
Or I'm trying to discredit him so that when the bag comes over to me, I seem more
right. Well, let's hear how this goes.
You do realize the last time he's won a match on TV was,
but he never wrestles on TV.
December.
But he never wrestles on TV, but he's being protected.
He wrestles on pay-per-view, and
he hasn't wrestled hardly at all.
He has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's wrestled 11 TV matches, and he's won 0 until this past match.
Well, there you go. Then they're trying to get him ready for.
But Meltzer, he never wrestled on TV. He wrestled on TV 11 times.
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. There you go. Like I said, I'm right again.
For Jacob,
he's got no credibility, dude. He always loses. Always. He's always beaten.
Your broadcaster partner has no credibility.
No, they do mean something. That's why Jacob Fatu has.
Oh, so he's trying again with the wins and losses mean nothing in WWE. Like, stop that. Here we go.
Wins and losses mean nothing in WWE.
No, they do mean something. That's why Jacob Fatu has never been beaten. They've never beaten the guy.
And that's why they're feuding the two of them. They're feuding the two of them. So
I know. I'm wondering why they're feuding him. Like,
Brian is so done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's why they're feuding them. Like, you're making no sense. Dave Meltzer is caught being wrong, and he is flailing because he cannot. Exactly what you were just saying. He cannot admit that he was wrong. He cannot admit to be like, oh yeah, well I didn't realize that. Sorry guys. Oh yeah, no, you're kind of right, Brian. No, he has to now find a way to be right.
Jake, give Solo something.
Well, they are. I guess they're going to start to do that now. But the point is like the way that they book title match, they have people lose 10, 15 times in a row, and they'll give them a title match.
Yeah, for geeks. But for the top guys, they don't beat them. There's a reason that Jacob Fatu has never been beaten.
Well, yeah, because they're super protecting Jacob.
Yes, exactly.
But Solo is the guy who's going to feud with him for next. But they don't care. They don't care.
Well, they should. If you want people to care about it, they didn't care about that ladder match. And they didn't care about Solo winning, except they were mad because they didn't have Phoenix or like 2 guys who can do ladder matches.
But the point, they've talked how many.
He is in full like meltdown mode right now because he cannot find a way out of this where he can say I'm still right.
Anybody with an IQ over 80, he has a problem with.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Loss don't matter. The fans don't care about wins and losses. I mean, it's obvious. You've seen how many times that they'll put a match that in theory shouldn't draw because one of the guys always loses, and it does draw. So it's like, I've been studying this. The fans, it's not a big deal to the fans.
I've been studying this. I study this. That's his other favorite thing.
Yes, they will protect a few guys like Solo.
Yeah, important
not
guys.
Solo, but like Jacob. But Solo's a guy who they obviously feel that they can beat, but they still treat him like he's a top guy. I mean, he gets plenty of promo time. The key in WWE is your promo.
Okay, so that's part 1. Let's boot up part 2 of this because it continues on.
Oh God.
He has a weird thing about Samoans recently, doesn't he? Do you think maybe he just feels extreme guilt about pronouncing
the Alpha thing?
Yeah, Alpha. That's it. Yeah, was it? Yeah, about pronouncing Alpha.
It's possible. All right, here we go. Next part of this.
I mean, he gets plenty of promo time. The key in WWE is your promo time.
I know, but people don't care about Solo. He actually doesn't get a very good reaction. Jacob gets a great reaction because they can see he's special. because he never loses. And he's always the guy that has to save Solo.
But they push Solo, but Solo gets lots of TV time and he gets a push.
He needs to start getting some wins, or this ain't going to be much.
Brian always approaches Meltzer with the simplest logic you could possibly present. And Dave finds a way to trip himself up with it.
I do have to say that I disagree with Brian Alvarez on one point. It wasn't because Jacob Fatu was winning that he became special. It was because they debuted Jacob Fatu like $1 trillion goddamn dollars.
Yeah, I actually have no issue.
He didn't win a match.
I have actually no issue with Meltzer's opinion here. My thing about him is that he can't listen to him break down. Like he's being challenged on something and he's melting. And we hear it as it happens. Like it's like when the machine go, it's like you're playing tic-tac-toe with the War Games machine, and it's just in this endless loop. Yeah, like I have no problem with someone saying, like, okay, look, Solo's not winning, but that's his character. Right, his character was that he was pushing. He was too young and trying to take over the bloodline. Whatever, fine. That's where you want to go. That's where you go. No issue with that. But the fact that he's melting down over this, he melts down over everything. The guy is a living crash out. He can't everything. Anytime he's challenged, because he's the authority. You can't challenge him. His opinion's right. When he gets something right, he crashes out. Marv.
But look at his Twitter though. He can't handle even the most mild of criticism.
Yeah.
Any question to him is offensive. He has to attack you, and if he thinks he's right, he throws himself a month-long smug parade.
And he blocks constantly. He was the first person to block me on Twitter. I'm awful. You're blocked by Meltzer, right?
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. I guess.
How'd you manage that?
Because I've got an IQ of 79. That's why.
All right, here we go.
He blocked me after I explained to him how a P&L worked.
A feud.
Well, he's going to lose the feud, so it doesn't matter. But the point is, especially for heels, they beat heels all the time, and so they beat heels all the time. They don't care. I mean, it's like that's just part of the deal. I mean, it's
right back to they don't care. That's the basis of his argument, is that they don't care. And then Brian keeps explaining to him how they do care, and they show that they care, and he can't wrap his head around that.
Right.
It's also a subtle knock on.
Not anything new.
It's a subtle knock on WWE fans too, because he's saying they're not smart enough. They don't understand this.
But
it's not that subtle.
Right.
But listen, I will say this though. Meltzer is correct. They don't care.
Yeah.
But only certain heels can get away with that. Like, I don't think Solo's in the spot yet where he should be losing this much. Solo does need to be a little protected. But they're spending all of his "you were a killer in the bloodline" equity. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's once this is finally done. Once Solo loses to Jacob, right? Because we know all roads lead to this match. What do you do with Solo? Are you hoping that it's time to do Roman versus Jimmy, and now you officially wrap up what's ever left of the storyline? But when that's done, what the hell do you do with Solo? You wasted him. I get it. Jacob was the better version of Solo.
Yep. Jacob was supposed to be Solo, or Solo was supposed to be Jacob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you guys see how downplayed Jeff Cobb was on SmackDown? Like, it was that dude. I don't know if it was because he was against LA Knight or what, but I've seen a lot of Jeff Cobb matches, and he was going about a fourth the speed he normally does. And I don't know if it's like he's overcorrecting for the WWE style, or if someone said, "Hey, we don't want another Jacob situation." Right.
Yeah. It could also too be that he is still adjusting to the size of the ring.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Do you guys believe that? Because I don't see too much going on with Jeff Cobb. I think a better move for him would be to present him on like NXT, maybe in like the next 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Get over whatever storyline you guys got going on with him for now.
Too late to do that.
Then,
too late to do that.
I know. They should have did it with Solo, actually. Mm-hmm. Take his black ass, Samoan ass, right back down to NXT.
But this has been the case in WWE for decades. They do not, when they book, they're not booking long-term who he's going to win and he's going to get a title shot. They'll just do whatever they want.
No, they're not booking long-term. The Bloodline, Cody's story. No, they're not booking long-term.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't care. And then when it comes to, we got to get somebody ready for a title shot. This guy's lost a bunch of matches.
Yes.
Put him in a four-way, and he wins the four-way, and he gets the title match.
He's talking about Vince era.
Yes.
This is not the same thing.
Hunter does the same shit. You look at Nakamura. When it came time to throw Nakamura at Cody, all of a sudden he was killing people. He was back. He was interesting. When that match happened, and he was ice cold. It's Triple H does the same bullshit.
Title match and all those losses don't matter, and the people accept it. If the people didn't accept it and it didn't work, they'd stop doing it. And I'm not, it's like, of course it's better if you make wins. I think it sucks that wins and losses don't matter, but they don't. They don't book and this is a perfect example. They're building this guy up for a feud with Jacob. Jacob is a top guy. They protect Jacob.
I know, but Jacob is a top guy, Dave, because he never loses.
No, he's a top guy.
He's always the guy who gets the win. He's always the guy that protects Solo.
Oh, Dave's kind of cooking.
I know, and if he lost all the time, it would be
Brian's
different.
missing the point here.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Dave on this.
Here's the thing that Dave is explaining poorly, is that fans understand the concept of the monster of the week. This was the Hogan era. Hogan got if it wasn't Earthquake, then it was Bad News Brown. If it wasn't Bad News Brown, then it was Rick Martel. As soon as it was Rick Martel, then we're back to Orndorff. It was just, who is it going to be this month until we get to the section of the year where we need to start stretching out a story. So people understand a bad guy's got to get hot so that a good guy has someone to wrestle.
Dude, does Dave Meltzer not understand, you guys are in the comic books? I'm sure that's what was going on every month when comic books, this month Spider-Man's facing the Rhino. Next month he's facing Sandman or whatever.
Exactly.
They do some dastardly deed in the first 5 pages, and by the end of the thing, Spider-Man comes out on top. Come on now.
It's wrapped up, and you're not going to see this character again for another 7 months.
And there you go.
And Brian is grossly underscoring that Jacob is over because of his insane charisma and athleticism. Jacob's special because he's special. They treat him special because he's special.
Right. Jacob could possibly lose all the matches and still be as good as he is.
It's true though. He's not over because he hasn't lost, and that's incidental. That's why Dave is right. Wins and losses don't really matter. Wins and losses don't matter until the WWE says these wins and losses matter.
It's a bit of being terminally online too, and I think Alvarez might have that problem, because if you look at Twitter, you'd think Rey Fenix wasn't over.
Yeah.
Right. And you listen to the crowd and you see he's clearly over. People love Rey Fenix. They think he's doing great, but he lost El Grande Americano and he didn't get in the Money in the Bank match. So clearly he's not over. That's how that's how the internet sees things a lot of times, but it's not necessarily the truth.
They're protecting him, and they protect their top guys. And my point is, they don't protect Solo.
To a degree. Oh, but they give him all kinds of interview time.
I know, but people don't.
Solo is not special.
It doesn't matter if he's got promo time. If
they're both right. Solo. They're putting too much energy. Solo does need to be a little more protected, but I get it. The mindset is they're playing a balance game. They're figuring we got to get Solo's ability to talk over more and establish his character. So Solo gets to do all the scheming and the plotting. So he's the character's different again. Mm-hmm. But people who have watched Solo want to see the badass from NXT. You know what I mean? So it's they're both not wrong, but they're picking weird they're taking their arguments at weird angles.
They're like people who don't actually talk to people in real life.
The problem is, like you said, they're both right, but Meltzer has to be the only one who's right.
Yes.
I think that's the problem.
Yes.
Here. Is that one done?
That one was over, yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that was far more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
We're not
we
done.
We did that.
That's true. That's true. Yes.
Shit.
We had to elaborate on everything Dave said so that people would understand what Dave meant.
Well, it's a good thing that his job is not communicating to people. This is Nick Beards here saying Solo was supposed to be Temu tribal chief. That was the whole point of the story. Yeah, it's exactly. All right, here we go.
You're saying that they're booking badly and that the feud will not work.
I'm saying they're booking Solo badly, yes.
Okay, if the feud doesn't work, then that's fine. But what if the people react to the feud?
But Dave, I've already seen it with Solo. Like, he had a feud with Cody, and nobody cared about Solo. He had the feud with Roman, and people didn't care about Roman. Yeah, it's going to do business because Cody is in there, and Roman was in there.
Well, then there you go.
But you could have put anyone in there. It wasn't Solo.
That was the point of the feud, Brian. That was the point of the feud.
I don't know why all of a sudden Dave Meltzer feels like he's the voice of the Fatu family and has to like he is so defensive about this. What is going?
Because he said a thing and he has to be right.
Yes, yeah. Meltzer is starting to smell some blood in the water that is Brian's argument, and now he's like, "I'm right," and I know I'm right. Brian is totally was the whole reason for the Cody Solo feud.
Yeah, but Meltzer's completely wrong too because he's pretending like Solo's super over and that people care about. You know what I mean? Like. Mm-hmm. Both of them, they can't. Well, how can two people have an argument and both be wrong? I don't understand how many.
I mean, it did business, so that's all that counts at the end of the day. Does it work? If it doesn't, if it works, it worked. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work, and then you got to stop doing it. But when it works, the fact that they do this and it works, it's like, okay, that's what the fans.
Yeah, if it works, then it works. But if it doesn't work, then it still might work. But work.
If it doesn't, you got to stop. What is them? You got to stop doing them. Does that mean you stop doing the matches, or you stop? I don't know, anyway.
Nothing better than hearing two morons talking to each other through awful wrestling mics.
They just try to say the story isn't working. But I guess I always point out, remember the one thing I always say, the heel's job is to lose. Heels lose. That's the sole purpose of their existence. So complaining about Solo losing all the time, again, it doesn't matter until you need it to matter.
Right.
Your answer. It's like, believe me, there have been times in history where what you're saying was 100% accurate and the stuff wouldn't draw and it wouldn't work. This is not that time. Because all of those feuds worked.
What? I don't even think the match for the Ulafala worked. The fans didn't care about the match all that much.
He's wrong. They cared about that one.
But what is he talking about?
Okay.
He was at a PWG show that night.
Yeah, okay. I think Alvarez is doing a terrible job making his argument too. Because the argument is the people cared about the match, but it wasn't because Solo was in it, right? Like Roman and the Ulafala, that whole storyline. But you could have taken Solo and replaced him with Jimmy, and people probably would have been just as interested, And that's the argument to be made. So Alvarez can't make the argument, but Meltzer acting like Solo sold that match is also very incorrect. You honestly, you could have put Journey Fatu in that match, and people would have cared about it just as much because they cared about Roman and the Ulafala. It wasn't Solo. So, right.
And of course, it was on a big Raw show with a bunch of other big matches.
It was
and it was Roman Reigns working on television.
And it was
but it should have been a way, way bigger deal than it was.
What are you talking about?
That Ula Fala after all that time.
That was okay. I'm not saying that was the reason.
The Ula Fala mattered more than a lot of world championships at that point. I mean, Brian's wrong here.
Yeah,
like one in a briefcase.
One of the most important nights in the company's history.
Yeah.
But I will say, I don't remember before this conversation. I did not remember that match happen on that Raw. Like, that's not what I remembered that Raw for.
And I'm not saying,
but it wasn't because of that.
No, it was partially because of that. That wasn't the main reason at all. The main reason was Dwayne and John Cena and everything. But the point is that crowd.
Oh, Dwayne!
He can't even say The Rock when he's talking about him playing The Rock.
It's so ingrained in his head.
Well, my favorite part in Black Adam is when Dwayne says Shazam and then turns into Dwayne.
Dwayne saw that the ratings on AEW were going up on high, so he called WBD and said, "Put on my hit movie Black Adam." Dwayne,
please tell me that every time he watches a movie with The Rock in it, he refers to the character only as Dwayne.
Dave Meltzer goes to a movie.
My favorite movie is The Scorpion Dwayne.
he went and saw Jumanji, and he was like leaning over to the kids. Oh, that's Dwayne. That's my good friend Dwayne.
The Dwayne Fairy.
Yeah, the Dwayne. I was just gonna say that one.
Crowd was on fire though, so there you go. The crowd was super into that match, so it worked, and they've been doing the promos for it. They spent months building it up, and that was the big blow up. They put it on a big show. The show did fantastic. Biggest gate, and again, not
because of that match,
but it was partially because of that match. That was a key match on the show. It was not. No. I mean, of course, it wasn't because of that match that they did a $4 million gate.
I can't do this.
I can't.
Dude.
Yeah.
I don't listen to the man on the regular. Trying to do ha-has here. We got to be tortured with this man.
I'm not even going to play the last one. It's just they're both wrong.
Yeah.
They're both wrong and they're both right. But that's Dave for you. All right, we got super chats to get to. Juan Alacon for $5 says, Ricochet seems very upset lately. Maybe he misses putting his finger in his, you know what? Never mind. Oh my goodness.
I saw somebody brought that up on Twitter, and they're like, I can't believe you people are fetish shaming. It's like, shut up, dude.
Fetish shaming.
Oh, stop it.
Finger in his bum. Stop it.
Yeah, no, come on.
We laugh at that and we mock it. Yes. Yeah. We're shaming because we were born before the year 2005 when men roamed freely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of fetish.
That wasn't a man.
That was.
Dude, you always cut it off at the best part when he does the gay dance. That's when it all comes together.
Yeah, but I didn't want to play the whole thing again.
Right.
Last Call Podcast for $10. Hello, Chris. Says 3 matches that can save AEW. Alfred Canua versus Ricochet, and a winner gets Samantha Irvin. One night with Samantha Irvin. Cornette versus Russo in a tuxedo match. Awful versus Tony Khan in a leather strap match. Yes, I want violence. Well, those are ways to get it. Forever Runner for one. Yeah, he would. Forever Runner for $199 says Ricochet met a better version of himself and lost it. Who was the better version of
Alfred.
Ricochet? Oh, okay. Andre Adams for $199 says Ricochet and Pedro Pascal cosplay as each other. Maddie for $4.99 says Russo's the Mark, playing the Mark, disguised as another Mark, bro. I'm a Mark playing a Mark disguised as another Mark.
Did you guys ever see that video of Michael Richards on stage going, "He's a Mark! He's a Mark!"
No.
There was a second where I was like, "Oh no!" and then I was like, "Oh, I get it."
Keep up this.
BT23 for $5 says feelings after disaster from main event of Dynamite last week and what happens leading up and possible aftermath of Double or Nothing, maybe even Saturday night's main event. What was the disaster at Dynamite?
Main event of Dynamite last week. Gabe Kidd?
Oh yeah, Gabe Kidd showed up in the steel cage match. John Moxley beat Samoa Joe, and I think that's the reason why AEW got such good ratings because people wanted.
Did he tap him out?
No,
pin. I think it was a pin in a steel cage.
In a steel cage with Gabe Kidd. It's. I mean, what do you want? I don't know. Everyone in the world wants to see Samoa Joe win the title.
That's it. They threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at this show.
Sure.
And it was centered around Samoa Joe possibly winning a title.
Well, look. Even if he wants Samoa Joe to win the title, if John Moxley doesn't want to lose that title, he's not losing that title. That's what ironclad creative control is. BT23 for $2 says Kevin looks sleepy. TK's money wasn't enough, I guess. I didn't know you were taking TK's money. Zach K for $4.99 says the word mark is like ketchup. It can be put on practically anything, and demanding evidence makes you a mark. By Thomas Sowell.
I like it. That was last week's article.
John Williams for $1.99 says this is just my favorite movie, Time Cop. Anthony J for $5 says TK's so deep in nose candy that if the man was still alive, Herb Abrams would be telling him to slow down.
Oh,
though there are rumors that Herb Abrams is indeed alive.
But, I saw that in the Weekly World News last week.
Yeah. George Captor for $5 says Variety reported the WBD Discovery's credit rating was cut to junk status by the S&P. I believe that.
It happened.
Yeah,
it happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are very much in the hole. I think they have $4 billion in debt, which has got to exceed the worth of the entire studio.
Sorry, Marv. Hate to correct you. $38 billion in the whole gross.
Are they really?
Yeah. Yes. I read that 5 times and couldn't believe it.
I'm actually shocked that no one is going to jail for this because we know that the books were cooked in order to get Discovery to buy this company.
Yeah,
and that's why they're in such crisis. None of the WB assets actually have value.
Yeah. It's 38 billion. It's definitely upside down at that point because there's no way Warner Brothers is worth $38 billion.
And
you don't have Cartoon Network because it was worth 0.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else they dumped was worthless.
No, yeah, it's WBD has no idea what they're doing, and with Awful has always been talking about the fact there's benchmarks or something which have kind of been shown at this point, or at least told that there are benchmarks when it comes to Dynamite's performance. But it makes you wonder if another company ends up taking over that contract. You think they're gonna keep AEW? Like, that's my biggest thing about if AEW goes. It'll be because someone took over the contract and said, "Why are we? How much to buy us out of this?"
I made a comparison. This is smelling just like the AOL Time Warner thing.
Yeah,
it's the exact same thing. It's just like I said an hour ago. You will not feel the repercussions of all this for, I'd say, another 5, 6, 7 months. And this is going by what Eric Bischoff said long time ago. Like, he walks in the office one day, he sees a whole bunch of suits and cufflinks, and he's just like, what's going on? Within months, the product looked different. The whole talent roster looked different. So, yeah. Good luck, AEW.
It was a slow bleed. Remember, all of a sudden, there were no Nitro Girls.
Yep.
All of a sudden, all the new cruiserweights that got signed got released. It was a slower. But again, with this, I think AEW's only saving grace is that they need cheap weekly content. So that's the only benefit you get because the show doesn't pull. Well, again, we'll see. We'll see what happens when we hit once we get out of the NBA finals. and we see them drop again, and then September is usually where it's stuck. So we'll see if they're sitting, if they're in the 500s by September and they're stuck there, then we can start the you can start the countdown clock to the last episode of Dynamite.
Yeah,
Andre Adams for $1.99 says Dave gave the new Snow White 5 stars. I'm done with that conversation. I'm sorry, guys. We gotta move. John Williams for $9.99. When Lance Cade died, Vince called Dave demanding he call him back, only for there to be another voicemail saying, "Wait, it's Lance Cade, not Lance Storm. Never mind." I don't get that one, John Williams, but you're not paying me to get it. You're paying me to read it.
You don't remember that? Yeah.
No, I don't. What happened?
I'm pretty sure that's an actual story.
Is it real?
I'm pretty sure that's real.
Oh, that's insane. That is insane. Wolf Child for $4.99 says heel diss not giving me a shout out for sending him the Piper Meltzer clip. Rude. Anyway, here's $5. Wow.
I'm sorry. It's I was in the hospital until 4 a.m. So I apologize. I'm not.
No excuses.
What are you? Yeah.
I said I'm sorry.
John Williams for $1.99 because Tony Khan says, "What's a bill?" That's very true. He probably isn't that the duck's mouth.
It's the Liquid Fox in the back you're not paying.
Liquid Fox for $2 Canadian says Meltzer is the sound of delusion. King fucking goof.
198. No, 198.
John Williams for $4.99 says wins and losses matter because I need to know when I need to bury someone. No, yeah, wins matter when they're Triple H's wins. And MJG for $19.99 says very far behind listening. Both theories can be true. AEW failed to send a full and usable episode, and WBD realized and let them flounder. Screws being put to AEW by WBD, who needs to revamp HBO Max. AEW not mentioned at the upfronts. Were the WBD upfronts recent?
Yeah, like last week, May 15th.
That's what Cena was at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cena was there.
Cena was there, and AEW didn't get mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know what's fascinating too is I think this fits. The interwebs are constantly screaming about how Raw is not doing as great, while also ignoring the fact that the audience increased by some 40 to 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So if the show is down 20%, it's still up 40%. And we're not in WrestleMania season. The two things happened over the last 2 weeks that essentially certify that everybody's happy with their decisions, right? You had the president of the CW going, NXT was a game changer for us. So you get no higher recommendation than that. Then you get the president, or was president or vice president of Netflix comes out and says Triple H's name, actually names drop Triple H for the fantastic results that they're getting from Raw on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So this isn't like when some dirt sheet lavishes Osprey with praise. This actually means something. These are high power professionals taking the time to shout someone out inside their industry, which tells you that this person is essentially now a certified G. So all this BS and caterwauling about how things aren't going great. At no point in time over the last 5 years have we seen anybody anywhere, but on any network, even remotely mention AEW's existence.
Yeah. What about the mayor-elect or the guy running for mayor in London took a picture with Nick Khan and Triple H like 2 weeks after All In last year?
Mm-hmm. Had a smile on his face.
With a smile.
Took a picture with some AEW fellows and looked like he wanted to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am convinced that All In happened at Wembley so that the people in London can be like, look, WWE, there's a market here. You can sell out WrestleMania 100%. At Wembley Stadium. I think that's definitely part of it. I think
also they didn't
kind of the way that Spike TV used ECW as a test to make sure that wrestling could work on their network before bringing on Vince.
Well, also they didn't pay Tony to be there. AEW had to get Wembley Stadium. WWE would be a paid WrestleMania would be a paid show. You know?
Yeah. WrestleMania gets paid to show up in your town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So speaking of people who probably don't get paid, this indie guy going at Cornette, we got to listen to this.
Oh, no. He's an AEW wrestler. He is an AEW wrestler.
Is he an AEW guy? I thought he was an indie guy that did a guest spot.
No, he's done a few spots.
Before we listen to this, who do you surmise it was? This, if you've heard
they
it.
say it. He says it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Anyway, this email, the subject line was, instead of calling me a nobody for attention, why don't you try to help?
Oh,
well,
that's a challenge.
And the email said
he
Starting
owes
off
you
with soft skin, right?
Yeah, he owes you nothing. The man's job is to critique wrestling. Oh, these people.
Says, first, my name is Miles Hawkins, and that's in capitals. I am an NCAA All-American trained by some of the best wrestling schools in the Mid-Atlantic. Why do you have to go to more than one? Was he expelled at some point? And I am the guy who did the job for Hobbs on AEW Dynamite. I am certainly not a no.
Oh my goodness, how soft do you have to be to poke this bear?
Just wait.
Okay.
I don't even remember.
Do you remember?
What did you say?
This is legitimate because, well, remember it was a couple weeks ago. They had a match where it was Hobbs and Samoa Joe and goddamn, who's in their grid? They hurt Shapoopy. Somebody else came or whoever their other guy was.
They hurt Hook. They had Shapoopy.
Hurt Hook. That's right. They got Shapoopy. He was one of the guys on the other side of the things. They had a job match, like it's 3 minutes or whatever the fuck. And I said, well, it was Samoa Joe and Hobbs and whoever versus nobody. And then we moved on. I said, the baby faces won the goddamn thing. And we were critiquing the show. That's the way I remember this guy. And I don't actually think that we bothered to watch the match to even talk about him any further. But apparently he was highly offended by us saying he was nobody on the, can you look up?
This is a level of softness that I did not think existed.
This is the entirety of the Indies.
Jesus.
Oh.
I thought he would at least have kept anonymous.
No.
The results of Dynamite from a couple weeks ago and see who else was on nobody's team. Or do you have is there a search engine you can find with that information?
I will look.
I like that he's still calling him nobody.
Yeah,
You
really.
can see who was on nobody's team.
We'll continue on reading the email. While I completely understand that the premise of your show is to shit on modern wrestling for attention, you are someone that I would like to hear your unbiased, out of podcasting character opinions and advice.
You heard it. You already heard it.
That's so ridiculous. Like the man's coming up with different ideas off the air. Like
I found this because of Mole. Mole posted on his in the first, and the comment was, this is how you cannot get booked anymore. Nobody is going to want to touch this guy.
Yeah.
This is how you get booked nowhere. Ever again.
Except that Bucky's.
Hold on. Beard just said, I just looked up Miles Hawkins on Twitter. He has 811 followers. He's clearly a big deal.
Oh.
What is he like? 4 feet tall?
He's bigger than he looks, I will say, but he's not in there like Powerhouse Hobbs. He looks pretty small, but he's,
right.
He's not tiny.
Neckbeard.
Lord, I'm here to see if you can help me, or are you full of it? So now, basically, Brian, here the premise of what we do is to shit on modern wrestling to get attention. We can't really mean it because
So I'm sorry, you want the man's help, so you insult him multiple times and then demand his help.
So typical of this generation. Not of just wrestlers, but just the entire generation as a whole.
Oh my goodness, that is a level of expectancy that softness and expectancy. Does it get better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think this is his shot at getting a full-time contract with AEW? You think this is him shooting his shot?
Attacking Cornette's not the way to do it. Tony likes Cornette.
He doesn't like Cornette now. He respects Cornette in the business, but
he refuses to.
Look what happened to
Cornette.
Camille.
Cornette is the one guy that criticizes AEW that Tony Khan does not go off on.
He fired Camille because she went on his show.
Did she?
I mean, he didn't fire her, but he hasn't used her since she went on his show. So
yeah,
this dude is a freaking midget. Obvious. What are you talking about? This is a mocha midget. Get out of here, brother. You need a booster seat. Lower the bass in your voice.
Not me.
Actually doing a great job. But if you have any criticism, I'd like to hear it.
Hold on, I want to go back and hear that.
Wrestling to get attention, we can't really mean it because they're obviously doing a great job. But if you have any criticism, I'd like to hear it. Besides the fact that I'm sorry, I'm not actually getting any extra attention calling Miles Hawkins a nobody.
Miles Standish.
Asking sincerely, he's taking the attitude that, again, I'm just in character, but they're not doing anything really wrong. Miles, I'm sorry, I don't have a character, I have an opinion. And my opinion was about the overall show and whether or not that your match was of any importance, and nobody had seen you on television ever before. Now, I could have, like some of the sorry sacks of shit that they've rolled out there in the past to do jobs that have just been visually ridiculous looking or completely inept and out of place, I could have broken that down, but you didn't really look like that. You just looked like a guy.
Like the things that he says about people from that show or from any show, really. And this is the thing that you take this reminds me of that feud between The Rock and The Big Show. Remember when The Big Show turned heel on The Rock because The Rock called him a jabroni?
Yes.
Like, you call me a jabroni. Like the Rock was like perplexed by it. Like The Rock calls everybody a jabroni.
It's okay. This also has a lot. The fact that Miles Hawkins feels this way probably has a lot to do with the fact that, AEW fans don't think you need things like video packages to familiarize yourself with people. They should just know that he's a, North Carolina YouTube television champion or something. They should know that when they watch the show. So they should understand.
You knowing who you are does not make you not a nobody.
Right.
Like, in the world of wrestling, you are a nobody at this point. You are proving yourself. You're in your infancy.
Bro,
like,
these idiots have all deluded themselves into thinking that because and a lot of this has to do with the fact that indie schools are such trash right now, and that there are gatekeepers who are gatekeeping who have no business being in the spots they're in. You align yourself with the right cult, and then that cult leader gets you a spot, then gets you a tryout you shouldn't have got, maybe a dark match you shouldn't have gotten, and then you just bounce around to the same 6 places that you always go to and work the same 15 people, and you essentially all stand in a circle and tell each other how great you all are. And then you become legends in your own mind. And then when something comes along to shatter the delusion, these soft-skinned, little babies start tantruming, and that's what happened. Cornette hasn't even been that mean to him.
Right.
No. Well,
all he complimented him. It was some nobody. That's all he said.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment. Because he was jobbing. You're not supposed to stand out when you're a jobber. When you're a jobber, the idea is that you're supposed to put the other guy over and make him look good. The fact that Cornette wasn't distracted by him, it's why none of the jobbers in WWF used to have gimmicks. They were just blah blah. Mike Jones, jobber. Steve Sharp, jobber.
Remember when Steve Lombardi called Bill After up? It was just like, hey.
Well, I love that line from Cornette with the "I don't have a character, I have an opinion." The character of Jim Cornette was the mama's boy rich guy from Mid-South Wrestling. That was Jim Cornette, the character. We are very well versed in Jim Cornette, the person.
Oh yeah.
Holy smokes, man.
That nobody knew who the fuck he was. And truthfully and honestly, I don't plan on watching a lot of your extended matches in the future, but just as an overall suggestion, if you're going to ask any veteran or any more experienced person than you are for advice, don't preface it by saying, well, I know you just say shit like that because you want to get attention and you can't really mean it, but what am I doing right? But now also, he was an NCAA All-American, which means he's doomed in that environment, because the last thing they want is anybody trying to bring any type of athletic background to that show. But at the same time, he sounds
100%.
There's also something important there too. Cornette said, "Tell me what I'm doing right." That's all they want to hear. They do not want criticism. They can't take it. So if you told them they did something wrong, you have shattered the fabric of their reality.
Yeah. Dude, it's not just wrestlers. It's not just wrestlers. I get writers all the time, like young writers that try to come to me and ask me to critique their stuff. And I always say, I said, look, do you want me to critique it, or do you want me to tell you that it's good? Because if you want the latter, then I'm not even going to bother looking. And if you want the former, then you are not allowed to contradict anything that I say. It's
a big mentality now. I remember when I first started gaining followers on X, I had a lot of people be like, how can you harass AEW like this or harass Tony Khan? It's like a lot of what I say is just criticism. And if you don't critique, excuse me, if no one's out there to critique it, nothing's ever going to get better. And the response was always, no, that's not critique. Critique is helpful. If you want to critique them, you should tell them what they should be doing, not tell them what they're doing wrong.
You are saying that, but you're doing it in a way that's entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, well, yeah, and not only that, but you can do both, right? Like I can say what you're doing wrong to set up what I think you can do better. You don't. That's what the part they didn't like is the fact that I was saying what they were doing wrong too. But it's like if you just tell people how you can get better, then they won't think that they won't think the specific thing they did wrong was wrong, right?
We had generations of helicopter moms lying to you and telling you that it's okay, you got a participation trophy because you tried. Nah, dude, like you don't get a trophy. You lost. Be happy if you got some pizza. Winners get pizza and ice cream and trophies. Losers go home. So now that we're stuck, now these little brats are now something that's supposed to resemble an adult. This no, sometimes you need to be told you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like his attitude would fit right in with the indie. But anyway, nevertheless, whoever the best wrestling schools in the Mid-Atlantic are, they should have had a class in attitude when you're trying to get helpful hints.
And you're saying things for attention because you're critiquing the wrestling that I guess he likes, that he thinks everything's good, everything's just going great. Well, they should just keep doing what they're doing.
I don't even know. I just think he may have been stung because he thinks quite often and fondly of himself, and nobody. Because I mean, think of the fucking things I've said about other people, and they never sent me an email.
And the whole "tell me what I'm doing right" based on what?
Yes, you fucking laid down wonderfully.
You were very good at counting the lights. Oh, fantastic. That was worth the wait. Yeah. So guys, check out more of that on Jim Cornette's podcast over there with also the stellar artwork from our friend Travis Heckel. So yeah, guys, make sure you give that a peek. All right. What else do we got? We got some more super chats to get to, guys. I don't think we have anything else that's big this week, right?
We have the Hogan Hooter thing if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, we can talk about Hogan with Hooters. Yeah, no. We'll talk about that in a second. So John Williams 499 says, "No, I blocked you for being a no good rapper." Craig Churchill for $5 Canadian says, "Solo has barely won in a year because the fans don't really care about him and not the other way around." John Williams for $4.99 says, "I'm just saying, we all know AEW fans are much more richer, handsome, and sexier than WWE fans." He has said a lot of those things in real life. Wolfchild for $4.99 says, "Here's a weird thing. I've been watching wrestling since WrestleMania 2 or 3, and until AEW became a thing, I've never heard of Dave Meltzer." Oh man, you lived a blessed life then, my friend. Yeah, I had never heard him speak before AEW. I had never actually like heard him comment on things before, which I miss those days. CWJ 128 for $2 says, "Wrestling is a story-driven business. Who knew?" John Williams 199 says, yeah, Phoenix losing to Dis was sad to see. Yeah, because you're El Grande Americano.
Right.
Liquid Fox for $5 Canadian says, Dave says something, me, he's wrong. Brian replies, me, no, he's wrong. Dave responds, me, they're both wrong. Call back to Thursday, yes, with the Donatello Ninja Turtles thing with the he's right, they're both right. MJG for $9.99. AEW canceled the Collision taping in Wichita that was supposed to be this past Saturday's show. Karma, huh? And the difference with WWE is they're running the city already. AEW abandoned Wichita. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they weren't running other shows in Wichita that, got, they weren't oversaturating the market the way WWE did. And then Wing Moonlight for $5.55 with no message. But thank you very much, Wing and Moonlight. We appreciate you here. Forever Runner for $1.99 says, here's a hint, Marv. He makes Dave uncomfortable. That could be just about anybody. MJG for $4.99 says, lost in the celebration of Dynamite's rating. This title match did less viewership than Cope Mox. Diminishing returns is undefeated. I'm talking about the Moxley Samoa Joe one, huh? Yeah, I get it. And then BT23 confirms for $5. I was talking about when Gabe Kidd, the Elite, and Swerve came out and with a bunch of people around the ring mentioned Anarchy in the arena. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are we going to see football field fuckery on Sunday?
Uh-huh. Not Sunday. No. It's they do like a special Dynamite and they do it.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't have to sit through that.
I mean, maybe who knows? Maybe they'll decide at the last minute they'll throw it on there, but so far it sounds like it's going to be
by the way, congratulations to our good friend of the show, Darby Allin, for climbing Mount Everest and hitting the summit.
He did.
There you go.
He got up there. Now, guys, what would you do if you had somebody that actually had climbed Mount Everest and they came back to the show? I would basically be like, I conquered the unconquerable John Moxley, and now I'm going to conquer you. And then John Moxley's going to beat you anyway because John Moxley's tougher than Mount Everest. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I can get JBL to come out.
The chat saying it is Sunday.
Did JBL do it?
Didn't JBL do it?
JBL actually planted the WWE flag. It wasn't on Mount Everest, but it was on a mountain.
Oh, was it Kilimanjaro? I thought he turned around and did Everest too.
He might have. Probably didn't bring the flag though. But as far as Darby Allin, him coming back, you have him show up in the snowsuit that he wore to Mount Everest. You have him slowly peel that thing off, but the things that you use, like the spikes or whatever that you use to climb the mountain, those need to be his new gimmicks from here on out.
Oh my gosh!
No more skateboards, spikes.
Right.
Darby needs to be the one that does this, right? Like, this is the only chance you ever have to over Moxley. Like, there's no one there's no one else, and there'll never be another chance to get Darby over like that. I just don't.
Yes, I think yes. In Tony's stupid little fragile mind, it should be a pillar who does it, but using the 4-foot lesbian is not going to move a single ticket.
You know what?
You forgot homeless.
I would use him. I would do it. I would give him the title at All In, and I would use him as a bridge to get the title to Lashley. And when you have Lashley beat Darby, make it be like a big underdog story, and just have Lashley destroy him. And then you can lead
the
Lashley.
Inverse of Kofi Brock.
Yeah, just have it be like build Darby up like he's a super underdog, and then Lashley just kills him. Because then you bridge, like I said, Bridget Lashley, whole new thing. That's what I would do first. But
okay,
that's why I think Darby should win.
What Hulk Hogan is doing lately is trying to find relevance wherever he can. We have seen it with Real American Beer, which I have looked and you can find nowhere. We've seen it now. We've seen it now with this wrestling company that he's starting with Eric Bischoff. Now, obviously, don't get excited, guys. It's amateur wrestling or Greco-Roman wrestling, I guess it would be the less demeaning term.
Folk style.
Now, Hulk Hogan and Real American Brands want to acquire the Hooters intellectual property. This is a part of a mission to take over existing brands that represent what America is all about. freedom, grit, and good times, brother, and bring them back to relevance, according to TMZ.
Brother, the world needs great big old boobies. We got to make titties great again.
We all know how he ran his last restaurant. I'm sure this one.
Oh no! If the Hogan on the beach dress code comes back for Hooters now,
but it's for Hooters.
Yeah. I mean, that is just a delightful little anecdote for us to end on this week. I have a whole video on Hulk Hogan trying to explain why he got booed, which is everything but why he got booed.
They were saying Boo Earns, brother.
They were saying, yeah, it's my nickname is Boo Earns.
They heard that Hulk Hogan was going to buy Hooters. They were chanting boobs.
Yeah, that was it, brother. Boobs. I was like, I hear you, brothers. That's why I'm buying. They were telling me I hadn't even decided to buy Hooters yet, and then I came out and they all chanted boobs.
I walked in and I showed off the 22-inch pythons, brother, and they just gave it to me. I didn't have to pay a cent.
I was like, for the first time in my life, what you gonna do? And then it came to me. Boobies.
What you gonna do? Buy Hooters.
What you gonna do?
And Al crashed through my window. It dropped my phone. It had a message from Piper. And he said, Hulkster, you gotta buy Hooters, brother. You gotta bring them back. You gotta get the nuts and the bolts out. You gotta get the tatas out. Maybe a little bit of cheese, but not too much. You're confusing the brand.
Then there was another text from Piper. It said, oh, and by the way, fuck you. But I don't think that was from him, brother.
I'm looking at Hogan's Real American Beer logo. Did he get that off of Fiverr or something?
Yeah, easily. Easily. They made it on Canva.
Yeah. $50,000, please.
The free version.
Yeah, the free version of Canva. If you look really closely, there's a Canva logo, a watermark. I have looked high and low in Florida for this beer, and I cannot find it.
We have it. They put it out in 8 states apparently. I looked into this after you mentioned it last time.
Real American beer, brother, in 8 states out of 50.
Hey, at least it's
real ones, brother.
They're all blue states.
You know, the center stars that made the X. Those are the real ones, brother. Sorry, I'll take that back.
Is Pennsylvania one of those states? Because I'm tired of wasting my time looking and asking people.
No, it's like Michigan, and then it's like all the states below that. So like Missouri, Arkansas, Ohio, that kind of stuff.
Real American beer everywhere south of the Mason-Dixon.
That's right, brother. Rust Belt
Midwest.
Midwest.
Oh my goodness! All right, guys, I'm tapping out. This was a fun show. All right, Dis, why don't you tell the fine folks we can find more about you and what you're up to?
Hey, go to @AEW Disciplinary on Twitter. I'm there. TunyDis.lol is our Discord. We hang out there on Mondays and Fridays for SmackDown and Raw. And then, like I said, we're going to be Max. Today's was Max's last day of school. Congratulations, Max, for being out of school.
Hey!
So we will be starting up his thing soon. So check out Maxed Out Media, the YouTube channel. And Sunday we'll be here for. Oh, you know what? The podcast is going to be updated again soon. So.
Yes, the audio version. Dis is now actually taking care of that for me, so that's actually going to happen. We're not going to add the back episodes. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to charge forward.
Yeah,
maybe we can add like the last 3 or so, but yeah, we are going to just be charging on forward with that.
It'll be every Friday, so
yeah,
you can
Fridays.
check that out.
So
part of Wrestling Soup Network.
Oh gosh, I was about to pull up. I was looking for a neckbeard quote to put up, and then I just saw the last one that he did, and I'm like, nope, not that one. Big thank you to AEW Neckbeard, by the way, the wise man of this show, for keeping you guys company in the chat tonight. We love you, Neckbeard. We couldn't do it without you. You are a truly amazing talent, and thank you very much for lending that talent to the show. Awful Wrestling, you have got your YouTube channel that has been taking off like a firestorm right now. So why don't you go ahead and talk a bit about that?
Quit lying, Marv. Listen, you can see me on YouTube, Awful Wrestling, and also on Twitter. And every Tuesday here at Toonie Talk Wrestling. See you Sunday because I've got episode 3 for Death of AEW coming up.
All right, guys. And speaking of which, before we go to Kel, I'll let you know we are going to be here pretty much all Memorial Day weekend. Saturday night, we're going to try to do a live stream for Saturday night's main event. Before you guys ask, I already asked Trish. I don't think she's able to make it, but I'm going to ask her again really nicely.
Lucky her.
Yeah. So and then on Sunday, of course, we will be presenting the AEW pay-per-view. So, join us for that as well. We'll see you guys for that. Kevin, anything you gotta hype up?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have some fun announcements in a couple of weeks. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, yes. Real quick, just for fun, since this will be on audio. If you're listening to this on audio, go to youtube.com/@ToonWrestling and check us out every Tuesday live where you can interact with us and give us super chats.
Oh, wow.
Have a good time on here, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So,
yep.
Do you like that? Good.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Guys, also check out Toontown TV, our sister channel. New video went up today about Ezra Miller making his grand return to Hollywood events at the Cannes Film Festival. There's going to be more videos hopefully later this week about Pedro Pascal, about X-Men casting rumors. So make sure you're checking that out. And of course, Thursday night, Toonie Talk TV over there on the Toontown TV channel. Kevin and I are going to be joined by Trish, by Lauren, by Nolan, by Martin, and we are going to have a huge conversation about everything going on, including the new Lilo and Stitch movie, which I will have seen before the show starts. So thank you guys for joining us. From all of us here at the Toontown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!
Now, Perry the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing. Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you. Ooh, yeah!
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks? For what?
Hi-ho from all of us here at Toontown. Thank you!
And viewers like you. Thank you.